Hello, everybody, and welcome back to People in the Boxes, episode 111. It is 9/12/2024. Let's go.
Hello.
Welcome to People in the Boxes. All right, everybody. 9/12. 9/12. Yesterday was a crazy day to remember for those of us who remember. I did very briefly talk about it on my show last night. 9/11. It was a crazy day, right? A lot of people died. It was a very traumatic day. But then 9/12, just the very next day, just one day separated. I don't know about you, but I had already joined the military at that time before that happened. And I remember 9/11, but I also really remember 9/12. For me, 9/12, I remember getting, and actually, and I don't necessarily remember it in a fuzzy feeling way. I remember it in almost a weird way, but in a good weird way, because I remember people stopping in the middle of traffic to thank me because they saw me in my military and my BDUs at the time. You know, I was 17. I was going into my Army Reserve drill unit because of the country being on high alert, right? And just happened to have that uniform on. People were just like, it was this weird. I don't know if they were trying to make up for years of like not giving a shit, but then suddenly everyone just loved everyone for just that one day at least, and it was just like we're all together, and somehow, and this it was a lot of weirdness. I know, Billy, you're pretty young, maybe you don't really remember that, but it was pretty intense at the time for sure. So
I don't remember it exactly, but I do believe that tragedy kind of brings unity. You know
even
what I
for a
mean?
short time,
Yeah.
even for just a little while, right?
Even just for a minute, I feel
Hmm.
like situations like that put life in perspective. So it kind of brings us a sense of unity.
Right. And this one was such a like snap back. It was like, all right, whoa, crazy, this is terrible. And then the next day it was like everything just was like good vibes all of a sudden. Not good vibes, but like this positive sort of motion happening. And
Right.
let's be real, they capitalized on that with us, and they kind of rolled us down that hill, didn't they, Kim? But guys, what's up? We have Kim with us, the head shenanigator, about to close on her house very soon. It's going to be crazy. Uh,
Congrats.
how are you, Kim? How's the week treating you?
It's been a mixed bag. Like, just my anxiety's like crazy right now with the house thing, and then I'm gonna have another surgery coming up. Hopefully in November over Thanksgiving, and just crazy. I saw
Oh
this.
yeah,
He cleared me for surgery, so now we're waiting for my insurance to say what all hoops I need to jump through to have the surgery. So that's kind of where I'm at.
yeah. You guys, if you didn't know this, Kim used to jump through a lot of hoops. Some of them were flaming, some of them would be, just got Billy on that one. Now, guys, we got Billy Fox with us tonight too. But shout out to Billy. She's been on the show in person on a We Grow Wednesday, and has a new drop coming soon. On top of that, she's the only person that responded to come on the show tonight. I sent a message out to all kinds of colorful characters in all different directions. We're gonna have King Neb coming on here soon, I believe, too. But yeah, Billy, how are you, man? Well, tell us what the drop is all about. You know what I mean? You can do it
So,
now. Let's hit it. Let's hear it. We'll talk about the topic
yeah.
in a minute, guys.
So Rock the Boat, this is a song that's been in the vault for a couple of months. I recorded this in a studio in Morton, which is the studio that I predominantly record in. I've performed it a few times. I want to say like 2 to 3 times. And every time I've had a very good crowd reaction. And it's definitely one of my favorite songs that I've made. I'm very excited to drop. It's been a while, but this is all about consistency. So as soon as I get this ball rolling, I just need to keep them coming. So
Yeah, no, I mean it becomes like similar. I don't know, obviously different, but similar to like when you're getting your chores done, you know, or your homework done. Like you have that sense of accomplishment when you make that finish line, and
mm-hmm.
then it kind of gives you that snowball effect. Like just keep it rolling, you know, keep that momentum. I guess is the scientific term, right?
Yeah, and with things
Uh,
like this, it's all about consistency. So
For sure. Now I know some artists will keep back a ton of music and just try to release a little bit at a time. Like
yeah,
it's like I don't know if it's like a squirrel trying to squirrel away nuts for the winter or something like that. Like for a rainy day, I got something to work on. Now
right.
you did something crazy, Kim. I'm not sure if you saw this, but I did put out a reel after the episode. So the reels, actually two reels. They were like the video you sang for too long. I had to cut it in half for the reels, but
Yeah,
I thought that thing that you did where you mixed all your songs together, I don't know what you call it, collage, compilation,
a
uh,
mashup.
a mashup. Yeah, that was awesome too. Like you could always do that in the future. Like, hey, let's see what songs have I not put together? Let's just go back and
Right.
that's awesome. Uh,
Yeah.
what is up,
Thank you.
everybody? I see people coming in on X, Rumble, on YouTube, on Facebook. Cheers, everybody. We're on Kick too. Shouts out to Kick. I got your comments up, Kick, just for Kick. No one, not very many comment on there, but every now and then, Twisted Cannabis. Shouts out to Twisted and crew. They will raid my Kick channel every now and then, so I'm like keeping an eye on it for the time that it happens. But let's get into it, guys. People in the Boxes, as some of you know, is a show that I felt needed to be made. It's not really a show for me; it's for everybody. The show is all about trying to bring people together from different perspectives, which is what every person, right? I don't know two people that have the exact same perspective on things, or on life in general. So the whole point is for us all to gain a little bit of that, right? And so tonight we do this once a month where we do sort of just a open ended current events episode. So we are going to get into some of the obvious stuff, you know. I heard about that duck eating that cat or whatever, and we're going to get into that stuff. And we're going to get into, just the some of the stuff that's more localized. We had a tragedy today in my town. I don't know if some of you saw my post on Facebook, but we had a young, I think 6-year-old boy
Yeah,
with
I saw that.
nonverbal with autism. Yeah, he slid out of a carnival ride at the
Yeah.
local Morton Pumpkin Festival. Now, from what I could gather, it was not necessarily the ride's fault, but the mom is not trying to have everyone blame the kid either. I think he probably wiggled out of his seat, and he's nonverbal, so it's not the same to be maybe had to pee or something, and he whatever it is, like he felt like he had to just go. Some other people said he jumped. Like I don't think it was necessarily that he jumped. He probably wormed out of his restraints or something like that. But anyway, he did break his nose. He's got stitches somewhere as well, and head injury. I
Poor
guess he couldn't walk
kid.
straight. They said too. So very intense. What was funny though is that I commented on the post, and I said I was just there. I didn't hear any sirens. I didn't see anything about this while we were walking out. Like we were nonchalantly walking up to the teacher to say goodbye and everything. There was no like rush of stuff happening. Like you would think there would be like gasps and like screams and like things happening, but no. And so I I commented that, and like 6 people have laughed at my comment now. It's so weird. It's the weirdest thing. My exact words were like, I don't remember any of this happening, or we have something to the effect, I don't remember anything happening. The ambulance, I didn't hear anything. But I do remember seeing you there, though. It was a friend of mine on Facebook who I don't really know that well. Like I was standing right next to this lady, but didn't realize we were actually Facebook friends until that moment. And so I said, "LOL, hi," like, "Oh hey, friend," that I didn't even know we were friends. And so I
Yeah.
guess that's the only part that people are really getting crazy laughing about. Hey, we've got King Neb in the house. What's up, my guy?
Hello.
Hi.
The way you were looking up, like, could you hear us? You were like,
I hear an echo on my end. I'm trying to fix
oh,
that. Give me one
do
moment.
we have an echo? Anybody? Anyone else out there hearing the echo? Cheers, Ted. What's up, my guy? Ted, come on up if you want to. What's up, Terry? What's up, Brenda? Elisa May, you're welcome to come up too. We got plenty of room.
Hey, so
Tell us what happened this week.
your angry hot dog water guy's here.
Oh, my angry John Doe with his angry hot dogs. Let's see. I passed them up. Here it is.
There's a meme that I saw today, I think it was, and I copied it onto my phone, of a guy sitting in a bathtub with a bunch of hot dogs, and all you can see is his bare legs and his feet, and there's like all these hot dogs in the bathtub.
Are you sure they're all hot dogs?
That's too
wasn't
funny.
a magic eye.
Oh my gosh.
didn't look too closely to see if they were
Still echo, King?
No, we good. I shared it to my on my page, and I have my page up, so I just cut it down. How y'all doing?
Cool.
Good. How are you?
I'm fine. Great. Just finished my book, man. I'm finally finished, man.
Oh,
Yeah.
like
Man,
finish
I
line
gotta
finished.
say,
It's in
Like we're
public.
talking published even. Okay.
Are you
Yep.
sure it's finished?
Yeah,
Like
finished.
I gotta
100%?
say, your background is absolutely immaculate. That is.
Oh, thank you.
Definitely.
Billy, I hate to burst the bubble though. I don't know what you're thinking, but I actually
not
thought
real.
that was a real background for a long time.
Yeah,
That's
it
not.
goes real.
Oh, it's not.
No, it's not
Yeah.
real.
I shouldn't have. I'm
You
a spoiler.
could've
I shouldn't have
fooled
spoiled
me.
it. Yeah. Why did I have to spoil it?
You could have fooled me, man.
It was super clean though, like a shelf unit and everything. Just looked
Mhm.
like a nice.
Yeah,
very
like
good.
that's very doable.
I used to change mine up too and throw in like a fireplace. It was like that would make, and then I'd put sounds on a loop of a fire and in the background, and so it really hit that
Set the
that
vibe.
home. Yeah. So guys, tell us in the comments. Let us know anything crazy happening with you, current event wise. I know there's a lot of stuff happening. We're going to bring up some actual news and stuff. There was the presidential debate, which was pretty, it was historical and whatnot, but it was pretty boring. So I think there's not really a reason to get into that too much from any angle. And there was a lot of commentators doing that. You didn't think it was boring?
Mm-mm. But I have a background in politics.
I watch a lot of politics, and I thought it was boring. I was like, really?
There was
some funny parts. I'm not gonna lie, but we can't watch it to talk about it. But I guess we could. Go ahead, Kim. Sorry.
Well, I've done a lot of debate and stuff like that, public speaking, things like that. And so it's always interesting to watch that because there's a lot of things. It's kind of like watching baseball. There's a lot of shit that goes on behind the scenes that you don't get. You know what I mean? So it's always interesting watching.
What, like the 3-on-1 that was going on? I mean, we can talk about it if you guys want. It was clearly clearly the moderator versus Trump, and then every now and then Kamala had something to say. That's from my perspective.
They kept fact checking him.
Yeah, they told her, hey, don't worry, we won't fact check you, but we will fact check him. That's if it wasn't more obvious, I don't know. It's just so funny. Let real people ask questions. Do a town hall.
Yeah.
And let random ass people ask questions,
Agreed.
Not some piece of cardboard that I don't even remember the dude's name that's been probably in news for 30 years or whoever that guy is. I don't know these moderators. Let fucking Larry the Cable Guy be the moderator. Let bring in, I don't know, Joe Rogan to moderate. Who cares? Somebody that's someone else.
That would be, I think,
right? Yeah. Well, that's why I don't really want to get into that because we all know it was all for show. And sorry, Billy, go ahead.
No, I was just agreeing with you, honestly. But I got excited when I heard you say Joe Rogan because I feel like we'd be in very good shape if that was the case.
Yeah, Lisa May, I've said it. We do a current events episode once a month. Every month, I'm gonna do this. I don't want it to be every show, but it is also it's not always easy to come up with the type of topic I normally come up with. So I do one week a month. We do a current events because why not? Let's check out some crazy news stories. Let's look at that article that I shared on Facebook about the corn smut. I know that's not necessarily a current event, but it was a current thing I shared that I thought a lot of people were so it was very interesting how people went with it. Most people were like, hell no. but it's a delicacy that grows on some corn, and I guess is like sought after thing in like central Mexico. We call it corn smut up here.
Mm.
So I was going to bring that up at some point here too, because I think it's just a funny picture. It looks like corn with like blueberry mushrooms growing out of it. It's really insane looking. But everyone's like, oh no, hell no. I'm like, really? Like I thought it looked good. But it was pretty freaky though that I was at that event when that kid got hurt, and because I the first thing I was thinking is it was obviously a ride problem. And I thought, well, I've made a post. I said, I'm glad we're okay. I hope the kid is okay. Because yeah, I mean, it could have we went on a few rides while I was there, and shit, that's the first thing I thought. I was like, holy cow, that ride could have just fell off, like, while I was on it, whatever. But yeah, it's a weird weather right now too, guys. Like we're having like cold nights. Like it was 55 degrees when I put clothes on. It was hot as shit while I was sitting out there in the, in the sun while my son was riding the ride. So crazy weather right now. It's fall time. Anybody got fall decorations out? No.
No, I need to get with the program.
The leaves are enough for
Backing
me.
shit up, Waylon.
Hey, look, I'm trying to keep it light, but let's get into the meat and potatoes, guys. Like I know Kim's been putting out some memes. Kim, you're a truth seeker, you said. So let's look up. Let's look it up. Let's see where the real meat and potatoes is, per se. No pun intended. On this whole story about Haitian migrants eating pets. Has anyone seen this story? Have you seen this story, King Neb? It's been going around like crazy. There's memes and there's like AI images.
I was in that debate though.
Yeah, there's a bunch of AI images of Trump saving kittens and ducks now, and like just
It's hilarious.
it's gone crazy. But there's always a little truth in what we might be hearing, and or at least where it came from anyway. Not whether it's a true story, but where the real the origin came from. And I actually did a little research on this a few days ago. I'll see if I could find it. There was a woman. I don't know that if she was an immigrant or not, but there was a woman that was caught who killed a cat, kicked its head in, and was eating it in public in Ohio. That was in August. Did you see this story?
I did, and I researched that because I was like, what the hell is behind this? And it wasn't even in whatever city. It was in a different city. It was in
the ducks is what happened in Ohio. Right. Okay.
Well, this one I think was in Canton, Ohio, not
Springfield. Well, they're in the same like state. I don't know. It seems odd.
But there's a lot of Haitians in Springfield. So apparently the city leaders in Springfield had marketed Springfield as a good place for the Haitians that were legally immigrating to the United States. So they have a large Haitian population there. And I haven't had time to really delve into all of that because I'm like ridiculously busy at work. But
I'm going to see if we can find something.
But this lady that ate the cat was not Haitian, first of all. Second of all, she's got years. She's got many years of issues with law enforcement. So
I believe it.
And when I looked at that video, I looked at the video and she looked like she was on.
I didn't see a video. I just saw I saw
her mugshot. It didn't show her eating anything, or like you really couldn't see anything. But she looked fucked up. She looked like she was on something to me.
Yeah, this lady here. Yeah. But it brings up the bigger question. So what I saw, and this is just from me seeing the back and forth, the discourse on these posts, not just yours, Kim, but a lot of people were posting about it. And a lot of the people who were saying no, they were actually killing ducks in the park. And then the other side of this, we'll call it the blue side just for shits and giggles, was saying, oh, well, that's cool. Who cares about killing ducks? Okay, all right. Now let's be honest about this for just a moment and say, yes, grandma's sitting on the park bench feeding ducks with popcorn or whatever, throwing bread out, and there's like a random person, I don't care if they're Haitian or whatever, a Martian, sitting there right next to her, killing a duck and eating it. Like, are we saying that is okay? I am going to say that's probably not necessarily what we want to have happen in our public parks. Okay. Now, I agree that people kill ducks. People kill ducks for sport and for food and all that. But I don't think we do it like in public around kids swinging on the swing set. You know, like there
Yeah.
is a line. Now it did got blown out of proportion because of this story, I think. But there is a bigger story here in that it's actually legal, and I'd have to look to make 100% sure, but I believe Kim Cooper, who put this out, I believe that she probably did the research. She said she did. So do your own research here. But there are several states. She said 13, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, states in America, in the USA, that is legal to eat dogs or cats or pets or something. There's some category there. I think dogs at least, if not cats too. So that part right there is an insane find because of this sort of unearthing, because of this back and forth, everyone doing a little research to have some actual facts, and they find out, well, hold on a second, we already do that here. You know, like, well, hold on. So I guess we're all sort of found a little found a little short on that one, because who cares if it's Haitian immigrants if we're just, but I do kind of care about the like the murdering of ducks in front of people. Like, that's a different thing. I think, but like restaurants being able to legally serve dog meat or cat meat or things like that, that's a disturbing thing in itself right there.
Well, it's meat, it's food, and so
Did you see this, Kim?
the Civil War. What is that?
That's a real picture.
What is that? Is that Donald Trump? Who is that?
No, that's Joe Biden. You don't know who that? Yeah,
Oh.
he's hard to recognize when he doesn't have the right. This body double today was a different one.
Oh.
He doesn't have his skin pulled on right. It's different. It's a different one. But no, he literally he put it on over another hat. But I think this is just hilarious and just different. I don't know, and weird, wacky world. Like, like what is happening here?
During the Civil War in I think it was Louisiana.
Chinese restaurants, probably. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Chinese restaurants are known. China's known for that.
Yeah, a lot of Asians, Filipinos are the same way.
I used to go in the Chinese restaurant. I used to go in the Chinese restaurant in New York City. Be like, let me get an order of cat fried rice, please.
Flat. I've heard it said, "Oh, Japanese chicken." Meow. Any of that.
But during the Civil War, when they were doing I think it was during Scorched Earth and those campaigns like that, people were starving and they were killing their horses and eating their horses. So, and horse meat is still something that I think people still eat. We don't think of, it's kind of gross thinking of that because most people love horses and it's more like a pet, but it's livestock. You're hungry, you're going to eat whatever you got available,
Well, people will eat. We've seen they'll eat each other, like the movie where like here we're like the movie the Alive, where they're in the plane up in the mountain, and the guy's like eat me to survive or whatever.
Yeah.
Rose says that's a made up story. So Rose, what I was trying to get at is that there's parts of the story that were why it got blown out of proportion, And I did actually see pictures of I don't know if they're Haitian or not, but people carrying headless ducks. So I believe that's happening. I watched a guy speaking to a black man speaking to his town hall. I forget where he was speaking to them at, but I watched the video of him explaining, like, why aren't you all out here doing this, taking care of this? They're literally chopping heads off the ducks and taking them and eat them. And so that, I think, is a true story. Now, whether or not you care about park ducks is another thing, but I think it did get blown out of proportion to like our pets, right? Everyone's just murdering your pets. Well, that happens though, not necessarily on a massive scale. Go ahead, Kim.
Well, you have to understand that people are coming in to this country from other countries, and some of them are a little for lack of a better way of putting it, are a little less civilized than what we are here, right? We have rules, we have rules of law, we have mores, and just ways of doing things. And you have these people that are coming here from wherever that are lead lives that are different. And when I was in college, I read this book called 20 Years at Hull House, and it was written by, oh God, you should know, she's from Illinois. I can't think of her name. But she did a lot of work with immigrants during that big surge of people that were coming in, like in the 1800s and stuff. And, one of the things that book talks about is how they didn't have sanitation. You had people that were coming in that were immigrating so fast, and they were bringing their way of doing things with them that wasn't the most sanitary, and it was causing a lot of illness and stuff, typhoid, and I don't remember all the diseases, but diseases that are born from filth. And so I just having read that book and thinking about these people that are immigrating here, I can see them totally doing that, because probably where they come from, that's what they do, and we don't do that here. And I don't want my grandkids to see that.
I don't know though. Like I when I was a kid, there was not a story, but one of my neighbors killed another neighbor's dog just because he was getting annoyed with the dog. It was always yiping at him and shit. And he one day killed it. I just remember that story. I don't remember like how, like I knew that I walked by the house all the time, so I knew them close enough to know this happened, but I didn't, I was a young kid, so I don't remember the details. Yeah, I feel like some people don't have nearly the affection towards animals that others do, and we know this, right? So some people, and over the years, that's kind of been twisted on us through like Disney and all the ways that we have talking animals, and like we've given animals souls and everything else, and it's like all dogs go to heaven. Ever since then, it's like, oh well, like I don't know. Like, do all ants go to heaven? I don't know.
Well, it's different when you have a pet,
Cheers,
somebody's pet versus, some bird that's swimming around in your pond. I don't know. I haven't interviewed these people. I haven't.
Oh, if it's a random pond, fuck yeah. Kill that duck.
Researched it, but I can totally see where people who immigrate here from maybe less civilized places,
but they don't have a better place to go. They're in the middle of a city. So to your point, like if they could go to some wilderness, they'd probably do it out there. But it's like they don't know how, like I mean, they might know how, but like it's several miles from most major cities to get to anywhere you might think of as wild,
Yeah. Well, I don't think it even matters that it's wild or not. I think that they're just living, in my opinion, a good possibility that would answer that would be that they're just living how they would normally live. You know what I mean?
For sure, that's the reason. I just think that if it's in a city park, around kids, and I just have this image of grandma feeding the ducks on one side.
I am not defending this. I would be completely horrified. We have a local park here that has a pond, and there's ducks and geese and I don't know what else. Fish, I think, in there. And we go over and we take bags of peas and we feed the ducks sometimes. I take my grandkids.
Peas?
I would be peas.
Wait, why peas?
Because they're healthy.
I thought it was supposed to be like bread or something.
No, bread will kill them. It has no nutritional value, and it bloats them, and it does horrible things to them.
But it does to us too, but we still love it. I don't know why.
Yeah, but it's not natural in a duck's diet to eat that shit. So we take peas and feed them peas,
Interesting.
Frozen peas, and sometimes
never uncooked rice. Remember that was a thing for weddings?
Yeah.
Uncooked rice.
Yeah, it'll kill
them. That, Ned? You ever, like the fucking birds would explode?
Yeah.
Never got to see it. Yeah. You can also do that with like, what was it? Alka-Seltzer? Yeah.
I heard about
Never did it. We did this though. when I was in Iraq.
I'm not condoning what those people did at all.
I know it's.
I'm just explaining the behavior.
We get it. No,
might be an understand, that may be why they're doing it. But there's backlash on that now. I was had the TV on. I don't usually particularly listen to the news, but the TV was on. I had been watching the local news to catch the weather, and there came a segment on where they were talking about the backlash that these Haitian people are now experiencing, like their lives.
It can't just be Haitians either. There's got to be many countries that do similar things.
Oh yeah, there's all kind of people.
So I think it maybe has to do with the concentration of Haitian immigrants in that area, and maybe people are making a bunch of assumptions because you can't know just by
people. I've talked to a few people online who are from Ohio, from those areas, and they don't like
Hello, Lisa.
They've got issues with them, and so they feel like they've infiltrated, and there's a lot of them, and it's anywhere you live where you have a concentration of an influx of a particular cultural or racial group that doesn't understand the racial group that they're integrating in, that there's going to be that friction there. We have it here all the time with the Mexican people that immigrate here.
We have it with just Americans.
What?
We have it with just Americans.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a very tolerant person. Like I get along with.
I didn't hear it. Sorry, go ahead.
But I have been in places in California where they were predominantly Black, and like I normally, like I fit in. I'm a blender. I fit in with people, and there have been certain things where like I was very uncomfortable. So we're all that way. It's like you're an outsider. It's that whole EMIG versus edict.
Elisa, could you turn your volume down just a tiny bit? I think we're just getting a little bit of
feedback.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't hear you boop in either. We got someone else coming up too. I believe Johnny Paradise.
Nice.
Send him the link here. He's a ex Spaces host, basically does a lot of other stuff. So Kim, I think you're right. I just don't think that. I think there's a nuance to it. Everybody was like on like extreme sides of this, like, oh yeah, who cares? And then the other side is like, what? They're harming a hair on our ducks' heads. Like it was like this total extreme. And it's like, look, I get it. I think there's a happy medium here. We don't need little Susie on the swing set. Huh?
So do you feel that way about chicken?
Well, I wouldn't want to see chicken slaughtered in front of
the
I wouldn't mind going to the slaughterhouse. I'd watch it happen. I don't think it would be fun necessarily, but it might be interesting.
Yeah, I'm not at all interested in seeing any of that stuff. I mean, I know how to. My dad taught me how to field dress a deer, how to clean fish, all of that kind of stuff. I don't want to sit there and watch it, and I really, unless I'm in a survival situation, really not interested in participating in any of that.
Yeah, I go to Red Lobster. I don't even look at the tank.
Yeah.
I don't even.
Yeah, I can see that, man.
I have a friend that they raise their own food, and so I used to go over there, and one day I went over there, and they had just gotten a new cow. And I was like, oh, you got a cow? And she said, yeah, that one's lunch. And that one over there is dinner. And they didn't do anything to like befriend them because they were going to be eaten. So I don't know.
Is mine better?
Yeah, it's a little better, but I don't know what that is. It's not usually there. So like a little bit of feedback. Yeah, that's all. But it's not that bad. We're good. So we got Johnny in the house. What's up, Johnny? How are you, brother?
Johnny.
Hey guys, what's going on? It's good to see you. What did I miss?
Oh, we're just getting into it. We did kind of lightly touch some of the big things, the big goings-ons, but we also like to talk about personal current events. There was some crazy shit that happened in my neck of the woods, and we kind of go over that too. Of course, we talked about a little bit about the pets and ducks story. We were just getting into a little bit out of that, kind of finding the nuance into it. How a lot of people were so one sided on each side of that. But then we got Chaotic says he wants to know if there's any truth to the downing of bald eagles in the Northeast. I didn't hear about that. I did put something in my post about. I was playing dumb. I said I shared this and I said y'all got to fill me in here. Did was Taylor Swift killing bald eagles and
What?
they ate and they ate ducks and cats at the debate? Was that what happened? And I was like, come on in and tell me what happened, guys. And
Wow.
yeah, I heard about Taylor Swift, back in Kamala. So I thought, well, hell, maybe she eats cats too. Let's throw her in there. And but I didn't hear about the Eagles actually. That's random that you said Eagles since I threw Eagles in there too. But did anyone else hear about this?
Yeah, I've heard about it.
Killing bald eagles in the Northeast? That sounds insane.
Wow.
Maybe are we talking about?
No, it wasn't in the Northeast. It was in Nebraska.
Oh, that's what NE is.
Yeah.
Hey, come on.
So the guy that did it apparently is a Guatemalan native. And he went to hide. Apparently, it's true. I don't know why he did it. Deputies found the dead bald eagle in the trunk of their vehicle. They told deputies they planned to cook and eat the bird.
Yeah.
So yeah. I don't know how true that is, but
I don't think it's a big deal if it is true. I don't like it, and we know it's illegal, right? But we can't expect when so many people are coming here who just unvetted and don't really know what's happening or don't really want to care about like integrating at all. With I'm not saying they should or shouldn't, but when that doesn't happen, then this happens. Like what? The bald eagle is what? It's sacred here? Like the elephant? Like no.
Dude, I got something about this eagle. The eagles were getting taken out back in the 50s, and 60s.
Oh, really?
By DDT was killing them, Monsanto, those bastards, And 150 years this company has been just doing scandal after scandal. So many of them so evil. And what they're doing right now is they're trying to codify this. They're really trying to get a license to kill with this farm bill. They're trying to create a liability shield so that us as farmers and consumers can't sue them for the harms from their pesticides. And guys, I go by Johnny Paradise on Twitter, but sometimes I think I should go by Johnny Poison because this issue is so huge and I talk about it so often.
Johnny No Poison.
No poison. Johnny No Poison, that's right.
Johnny Poison kind of makes a different connotation, I think. But
poison free is the way to be.
Hello, what's up, my guy? Come on up.
Dude, but this stuff's so toxic. I believe this stuff has taken out 20 million Americans over the last 20 years. And that's incredible. That's an incredible unhinged statement. I think that kind of sounds like, but I think it's true. You look into the science. All these diseases have gone parabolic in lockstep in tandem all together. And so there's one factor, there's one root cause of all of them. And it's glyphosate, guys. You look at the research of Dr. Stephanie Seneff. It's all there. It's autism, Alzheimer's, dementia, cancers, diabetes, obesity, celiac, autoimmune diseases, and nobody's doing anything about it.
I have said that. I'm a special education teacher. Been a special ed teacher for 25 years in January, and I have felt like petroleum-based stuff or these chemicals or whatever, these forever chemicals are causing this health crisis that we have, this autism, I don't think that every instance of autism is caused by it. I think
but it does seem to be the most predominant thing
I'm telling you, there is something to the chemicals and the freaking petroleum products. They're hormone disruptors. There was just a study that I was reading earlier this week about there's something, I can't remember what it was now, but something in little girls that are 8 and 9 years old are starting their periods. Okay. And so that's crazy. there was a research study that just came out recently talking about there's something, it's a hormone disruptor. It's I can't remember what it was exactly, but it's something that's a common forever chemical that is in like your shampoo and conditioner and soap and all of this shit that's causing this shit.
So I agree, but I also, Johnny, were you in the space with Apothecaro talking about there's another theory that runs along the same lines as far as every time we had a jump in technological advance, specifically nuclear and radioactive, every time we've jumped like 5G and back further.
Okay, I got something for that. Yeah,
There
I
is
was in a space. I might have been in the space you're talking about, but here's my pushback. Okay, we've got 5G in Japan and Europe and all over the world.
Mhm.
Americans are dying. This is an American epidemic of all these diseases going parabolic like this. Europe's way healthier than us. We used to live
Are they
just
though?
as long.
Like, I mean, where can I research
They
that?
left. They left.
Okay.
Yeah, they are. The
Okay.
I mean,
Well, I just don't like assuming that we're the worst. You know what I mean?
well,
Like,
well,
Well,
Waylon, let me.
Obesity in France they have way lower rates of obesity in France.
Let me say it like this, Waylon. 40 years ago, we lived just as long as our Western European friends, and now we live 5 and 6 years less than them. What's changed in the last 30 years? And it's this glyphosate. We're using more than 10 times as much as they are. And along with that, we've got 1,000 chemicals allowed in our food that they've banned. So our food's toxic in dozens of countries, and it's crazy. And these GMOs, they're not even tested, guys. The BT cotton, by the way, when the goats and the water buffalo eat it, they die, all of them, and they don't even
the
do
BT
safety
cotton?
testing.
What's that? Sorry.
BT cotton is a special cotton that's GMO to kill
Okay.
caterpillars. So it's got the BT kind of same thing in it. And our corn, our soy, our canola, it's GMO, but they don't test it for safety. There's no long-term testing. But yeah, this glyphosate, guys, I think that's the real bad guy. And I think that my call to action to all of us is listen, they got on our back heels trying to literally like trample the Constitution. This is against the 5th Amendment of due process, the 10th Amendment of states' rights, and the 14th Amendment of equal representation under the law, as long along the lines of us and corporations superseding us. But so they're trying to trample on our rights, and they're literally trying to codify what I call a Holocaust, and I don't think that's hyperbole. And what my call to action to us is we got to get on the offense, and we got to ban the use of this glyphosate on our harvests as a desiccant. Right now, 80% of our exposure, a lot of experts believe, is just becoming, because they're not even using this stuff right now as much as a weed killer, as far as what of it affecting us, as much as they're spraying it on our grains and on our beans at harvest to kill the crop, to dry it all out uniformly so that they can avoid mold problems. And this is killing us, and they've only been doing it since 2006. And their justification for this sort of bill is like, oh well, you gotta use poison to grow food. That's balderdash. No country uses as much poison as we do, and we've never done it, not till very recently. We've always grown our food responsibly. And
Let me push back a little bit. We export some foods?
A lot of foods, a lot of countries won't take our food. So there you got that.
It's already in our water supply, though.
Yeah.
75% of our air and 75% of our rain has this in it. It's in mother's breast milk. It doesn't break down in 3 days like it says on the bottle. And this stuff, like to your point, it's an endocrine disruptor, a carcinogen. It chelates our nutrients, and it's an antibiotic. Guys, it's ripping up our gut flora, messing up our digestion. We got leaky gut. We got, it's not a glyphosate. It's not a gluten intolerance. It's a glyphosate intolerance, guys. We got so much inflammation. You mentioned obesity. It's wild. It's unbelievable what we're letting happen. But I'm telling you, if we ban this use as a desiccant, that's a good first step, and that's an absolute minimum of what we should demand.
If it's in everything already, like what do we think we could like collect it back up somehow? Like a forever chemical, and then like shoot it into the sun. Elisa, I am really sorry, hon. I love you, really do. But could you just mute until you wait? Now it's not you. Is it me? Is it me? Is it me?
Maybe it's me. Let me jump off and come back on, dude. I love you guys. Thank you
May.
Thanks for the info,
I owe
bro.
you an apology.
Going.
I think maybe
I
you're.
don't-
Say
Is it
something,
me?
Lisa.
Yeah, it was him.
You were the only one echoing. When he talked, it didn't echo.
I
Now
how come no one told me I had an echo? Do I still echo?
no, now that he's gone, I don't hear the echo though either.
That's weird. For a long time, I you were muted and I didn't hear it. I unmuted you and then I heard it and then I muted you again and it stayed. It's like It's like what happens when you guys remember having a radio, and it might still happen in the car radio, where if the station's getting staticky, you put your hand on the radio and it clears up.
Yeah, you Fonzie or something?
Yeah, your electromagnetic field has something to do with. Oh, Twisted in the house. What's up? I see you. I see you. Yeah, on Kick too. So like they almost they almost had me. I see you. Okay. I have to put that on screen somehow. Yeah, I still hear it. It's weird. I don't know. It's StreamYard. StreamYard does this shit.
I could leave and come back on my phone.
Maybe. I would like you to. You didn't really get to say much about what's going on in your life.
Okay.
But come on back, and we're gonna do a spin here soon, guys. I'm gonna be
run
getting.
to the bathroom real quick.
Yeah, you're welcome. No, I'm gonna be putting the wheel up here for people who hit the like button and share us out. Also, you get another chance over on X and another spot over on Rumble. So if you go to X and Rumble, hit the like button, throw a comment in there, say hello, comment in the live chat if you can. So we got a book coming out.
Yes, sir.
We had someone on here earlier, Billy. I'm not sure what happened, but she has some music coming out.
Mm-hmm. I'm fixing to come now as we talk, so pardon me.
You're doing what?
I'm editing the cover, trying to make
Do
sure
it.
it's the right lines.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty relaxed, and actually, when you have your mind off of things like that, hello, Tammy, it can kind of bring things up too.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of focusing so hard, try the mute on your share screen. Touche. I think that might be it. Twisted had the good answer, the right answer. I have the audio shared in on my shared screen, so it probably wasn't Elisa May or Johnny Paradise. Hi, Elisa. I think I know why there was an echo now.
Is there an echo now?
No, you sound much better.
Oh, well, the other camera was better, but. Anyways,
Yeah.
speaking on autism and the poisons and all that,
Mhm.
there was another autistic boy that went missing this week. He ended up drowning because he wandered away.
Really? Where?
Yeah, I don't remember where that happened at, but it was in the news.
It was in Illinois or?
I don't think so.
Hmm. Anyway, I'm gonna share this up. Yeah, I see every time I see a missing person or missing kid, I try to share it, but it's not always gonna be helpful. What's up, Smashley? What's up, Jess? Just found out my niece is autistic. So that's something. It's not really the current events topic, but there are groups on Facebook. Chaotic says it's that gremlin and electricity causing an echo. Yeah, no, it was my fault. Silly
It was
me.
Mississippi. He was a 4-year-old little boy.
But the term autistic, how do you feel about that, Elisa and Kim? Like, I've heard that is supposed to be I don't know, faux pas would be, or a no, a derogatory term.
Derogatory, yeah.
I don't know.
I think it's unfair to the severe autistic ones.
What are you talking about?
So there's some groups on Facebook that will like berate you. They'll like get in there and like compete over who has the most like difficulty or the most like issue with their kids. I'm not in any of them, but I have a story from somebody who joined one, and they were getting angry at anyone who said autistic. What they say you're supposed to do, and I'm not either way on it, guys. I'm just wondering.
Right, you can't use the R word for, you know what I'm talking about.
People are using the R word so much now, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't like it for some reason. Is it weird that it bothers me that everyone's throwing out the R word for everything as like a fun thing? Like, oh yeah, you're.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
like,
but there's different levels, and some of them are genius just because they are
True.
autistic and their mind's able to photograph.
Oh, don't worry, Jess. Sorry.
You call those the savant?
Photographically remember everything.
Yeah, no, and that's where people think they have superpowers. Jess, don't worry about it. You just made me think of it because you're not the only one. Like, I mean, Lisa May just said it. Like I say it, but I usually, for some reason, what's up, Smashley? For some reason, I try to say with autism, which seems like you're going out of your way. But
So one of the
what do you
things
think?
that they're trying to do with people that are with disabilities, just in general, is that they're not labeling that person as autistic. They're labeling them as a person with autism. So they're trying to separate that out because a person is more than just what they're afflicted with. You know what I mean? Does
Right.
that make sense? So I think
Well,
that
I just mean between the two terms, autism and autistic is what I'm questioning.
well, I think that's what their problem is with, is that labeling. Like if you, let's say you had autism,
Oh, I got you.
calling
Yes.
you autistic. Well, you're more than just autistic. You're
You.
a lot of things, but you get labeled as autistic, or it's different. It's a nuance in the way that you describe a person. And it dehumanizes you if you're just if somebody labels you as autistic.
Right, and that's the idea behind it, I believe. So that's you're right.
Just like with any disease, you say, I live with whatever. But
Yeah, you wouldn't say I live with a
who you
cancer.
are.
You know, I live with a cancer or something. Like there's no way to like you say I live with someone who has cancer. Like that's how you would say it.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
don't
we just
like
got
the
a little too
R word
sensitive.
though. I don't like that R word, and that
Yeah.
makes me mad. And I don't like to hear people refer to other people with that.
Yeah, there's a weird trend. And I think some of it is a pushback against the sort of quote Karens, no offense, Karen, that get so mad about terms and things like so. Like, there's a difference between observing that, okay, yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and start using this term because I think it's better for whoever, versus going up to people and like grammar Nazi in them, like, oh yeah, you're not supposed to do that, like, like that's the line, I think.
I think there's this real counterculture kind of a thing going on.
Jeff.
It's hard to have perspective though, because I live in southern New Mexico. We don't have, our dominant culture in this state is Latino. And so we don't have any other culture here. The next largest is white or Caucasian. And so we don't have like very many other cultures, like Asian or Black. Albuquerque's the exception. So I don't have like perspective, but it's interesting to sit there and listen to my students talk, because they are racist little motherfuckers. And I'm not kidding you when I say that. Like, the stuff that comes out of these kids' mouths astounds me, but they play with it. And it's like, they're racist, like, I don't know, it's weird. And it
I
feels
think some of it is the
It's
you're
sad
not supposed to
because you're
say
taught
this.
that.
Yeah, well, maybe, but I think some of it I don't know what the percentage is. Some of it is, hey, you're not supposed to say this word. You're not supposed to say these kind of things to people, and so then kids will, especially behind grown-ups' backs, use those words they're not supposed to use, not just cuss words, but all the derogatory words.
maybe,
I
I
think
don't
some of
know.
that.
I don't know, but let me give you an example. So I have this group of boys in one of my classes, and they're all friends. They hang out together, whatnot. And one of them, all of them are Hispanic except for one, and he's black.
Right, Jess.
And so we're sitting there one day, it was earlier this week, and he makes this comment that he has a white name. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? And he says, well, Chad. And he says, I'm the only one in my family with a white name. And I was like, what does that mean? I said, what, I was like, what name are you supposed to have? And then he stops and he says, come to think of it, all of me and my brothers and sisters have white names. And so I was just like, I don't know. And then they started like poking fun with each other, and I guess it was just a friend group. So like maybe.
But that's how things used to be, Kim, when things were less politically correct, when people could make fun of each other for their backgrounds.
Yeah, but let me tell you something, and King might back me up on this. When I worked out in California, like there's a large Black population there, and I was in Sacramento.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And within the friend group, like you could use the N word, not the hard R, but the other one. And you could joke around and stuff like that if you were not Black, but you had to be in that friend group. But if you were not in that friend group and you talk like that,
Oh yeah,
you up.
you gotta get that pass.
Yeah, and then the thing is that these kids in my area, because we don't have a large Black population, they don't get that. And I try to tell them, but they don't get that,
Oh,
so I don't know. Interesting. I think it's bigger than just kids talking about shit, outside of the purview of parents or whatever. I think it's a counterculture thing. It feels like
it is being
kind of a thing.
anti-politically correct or politically incorrect, like Jess said. I think it totally is. And like we used to have shows like it. Looked like a Bill Maher used to be that kind of a character. But hey, what's up, Twisted? Have to get them signatures, get that pass. Got to get them signatures to get that pass. What? Twisted, come up for a minute, man. Come on up.
What you talking about, Twisted?
Johnny was just in here and he popped that back out. He was actually having some background noise, so that's not the first time I've done that to Elisa May. I owe you something for that, Elisa May. 10 lashings or something. I'm sure at one point in the past I was like, Elisa May, you got this background noise, and then it wasn't you. Cool. StreamYard does that to a person though.
I don't know. I just feel like there's like this real push against, I don't know. There's like this political thing with sensitivity.
Yeah, very sensitive.
And I
feel like fully believe it's something bigger than us, because that's happening kind of not just in America. I think Johnny's right about the health problems, but there are things happening all over the world that seem like people are just losing their mind. I've talked about this before, guys. There is a theory that the magnetic poles are like wobbling and they're going to flip, and it's supposed to happen in like a day when they do flip like 90 degrees. I could totally see that happening because we've seen it happen, and evidently there's some evidence of it or whatever. But that's how we have things like different things where we don't think they should be on the earth. But not to get too deep into it, but if something like that's happening, we know that magnets actually affect people's brains. And we also know that magnetism, like we can make people go crazy by putting magnets on their heads. I don't know if it's a certain size. I just know they've done experiments, and they probably have shit that we don't know about, of course. But that's what worries me. It's kind of like, it reminds me of Little Nicky. I know it's funny, but they had the devils from hell like taking over people's bodies, you know. But instead, it's like people's brains starting to go a little bit more insane, as far as like rich people doing like more and more just out there stuff, you know. And not just that, but being open about it. Like the mask is off on a lot of things. A lot of people are just saying some shit that are just you wouldn't have said.
You're just seeing
Yeah.
it.
Okay, I agree. I'll take the pushback, but I think that it seems more like blatant now. Am I wrong? Like it's more like blunt. People are doing things like right in your face now, like, and just not
Yeah.
stuff that you wouldn't have gotten away with
that
saying.
all started, let me tell you, that all started, in my opinion, that started under the Obama administration. People did not like the fact that they elected a black man to office.
So that enraged them, I guess, and now everybody's going crazy. No, I think they started way before that.
Well, I agree, but it came out in the open during Obama, because I remember, like, it was during Obama's administration when Facebook started up. And it was during, I want to say, when he was elected the second time, I think. You started, I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm sensitive to that kind of shit. But I just started noticing like really ugly racist stuff publicly circulating, you know, like things where they would simulate lynching him and just all kinds of ugly
Yeah,
stuff.
the racism came out that time, you know.
Oh yeah, big time. And I told my son, my son was like, I'm gonna vote for Obama. And I told him, I said, well, I said, I don't think this country is ready for a black president. I think it's gonna.
Why not? It was ready for a white one.
I understand.
I have to push back here a little bit.
You may push back, but I'm telling you, it brought out the ugly in people, because
so what you're saying is
there's still so many underlying racial tensions left over from Jim Crow and everything.
I don't think that's the case.
Civil rights movement, and you know, there are a large segment of white people in this country that are not past all of that.
Of course, there's a lot of black folks that's not a, you know.
There's new
racism
too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's new racism too, and there's also, this is the thing, and no one wants to like admit it. A majority of people will say, we'll call them maybe the more shallow thinkers in the world. Mm-hmm. They run into things that look different, and there is a natural sort of instinctual aversion to that. And that was a thing that happened in tribally. That was a natural, like a survival thing. Mm-hmm. It was like, hey, this tribe looks fucking crazy different than my tribe. I better stay away. They're gonna eat me for lunch. Like, and that is a thing that people don't seem to be able to shut off. Some people don't, but I don't think it's a thing where it's like I'm superior. I just think people don't like things that are different than them a lot of times. Now, there are racists, but there are also racists that are the other direction, the soft bigotry of low expectations. Mm-hmm. Oh, I don't know how we're getting into this, but we'll get on a different topic soon. But yeah, I don't like it when people want to be like, oh, let me speak for the whoever race because I know best for them, and I'm just here to help them, and I'm their ally and such. No. Like, get off of your high horse. No one specifically, but I just mean like some people will come in and like act like I don't know. I've come in to be like to defend someone. That's different.
People shouldn't see color. We all bleed the same.
Yeah, but that's the problem. Is they're going.
We're all derived from the wheat color.
the red springs forth, right? Mm-hmm. Well, I agree, and I think it's interesting that people don't celebrate our differences more, and that's what this show's all about. because if it wasn't for differences, we wouldn't have things like competition to innovate and to make new things and to do something better or whatever. Without having bad, you can't have good. Without having ugly, you can't have beautiful. Like period, right? So there's no reason to fear different. It's there to help, right? Different things are there to like change perspective, and that's what it's all about. So let me get back to this wheel here. I'm gonna get everybody from X real quick. Let me pull that up. If you guys didn't hit the like button already, I am sorry, but we're gonna throw everybody on the wheel from X and Rumble. Sorry, go ahead, whoever was that.
There's a thing that I just saw on social media that was talking about a meme that was saying, let me see if I can find it here. Turns out ABC moderator Lindsay Davis and Kamala Harris are members or were sorority sisters. And I was like, what the hell? So I went and I looked it up, and they're both Black women, and they both belong to the same sorority. I don't think it was at the same time, but like, I don't know. People take shit and they just twist it.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
there's
so
advantage
fine.
in that.
I got a mixed niece and a mixed nephew and a white nephew. They hug and kiss each other, and they're only like 1 year old. They don't see color.
No.
Right.
People put that stuff in your
Put that
head.
in your head, yep. And that's the uneducated ones.
Yep.
I believe
Well, it's
so.
just like when I was little, we lived when I was very little, from the age of 2 to 4, we lived in the Virgin Islands. We lived on Antigua, and I don't know how it is now because I haven't been there since I was a little kid. But the island was predominantly Black. We were one of a handful of white families that lived on that island at the time. And so coming in at 2 years old, like I didn't know the difference between race. And my mom told me that so one of the conditions for living on the island was that you had to hire a local person to work in your household or something. And so we had a maid. And so my mom told me that one of the maids was jealous of the other maid and pointed out the skin color difference between us. And my mom said that I got really, really upset about it or something. I don't know. I don't have any recollection of that, but I will say that like that's probably why having those experiences that I had very early, why I don't have the kind of prejudices that a lot of white people have. Like I look at my own family, and my dad wasn't particularly prejudiced. He was just a typical white person, didn't really know stuff. But
What's that mean? Typical white person.
Right.
I think that most white people aren't aware of their biases, in my opinion.
Just white people have biases?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not
What you talking
saying
about,
that. Everybody has biases, but I'm not, I'm talking about like my personal experiences and my family. And I noticed that in my mom's family,
Good luck, everybody.
who are from Illinois, there's a lot of biases against Black people. But I didn't grow up like that, and I think I don't have those biases. Somewhere along the line I rejected a lot of that stuff.
But wasn't a lot of racism not towards necessarily just blacks, but like white people?
Oh
being
hell
racist
yeah,
towards
dude!
a lot of races, right? No, hold on. White people being racist towards any other race. Well, that is what I'm telling you. That's what I'm talking about. That primal, like you could say, dumb people or low IQ people, shallow people. They have that sort of primal drive still telling, well, that's different than me. And I don't know why I'm doing a Southern accent. Sorry, Southern people. Like that's the trope, right? That's the Hollywood trope. And so, yes, there are probably more Black people in the country than any other non-white race, right? Wouldn't you say, Neb? I don't know. There's probably numbers out there somewhere to see that, but where are we at? Perry Wood looks like. But yeah. Anyway, we could have a whole conversation on it sometime, but let's get back to the topic. Kim.
What
Kim's
is the
good at
topic?
that. Kim's good at that. Kim doesn't even know the topic half the time.
Yes,
I
I
talked
do.
to you about it.
Talking current events.
See, she knew it. Pop quiz. But yeah, everything's
I
connected.
brought up a current event. I brought up this whole idea of Kamala Harris and stuff. So,
Yeah, that whole thing's weird. Like I don't care what race she is, but she definitely has like flip flopped and been kind of weird about it.
They all do, man.
And everyone, yeah, you're right, exactly. So why not just
They all
own it up?
do.
Like, look, everybody, I was just playing. She'd probably win a hell of a lot more, like maybe not support, but like a little more, like I don't know, respect if she's
I ain't
like,
hitting no substance in that debate, man. No, what they're gonna do. Just no substance at all.
Yeah, there wasn't much at all, or what was there?
Nothing at all. Get them both out of there. Get out.
Yeah.
Get to
Congrats,
work.
Barry.
Neither one of them fit the part.
Nope.
But that's the issue is that people are that like you just said, at least it's like a part being filled, you know, like I don't like that either. I really like the idea that what is it? I think 5 years Elon Musk is putting an unmanned mission to Mars. I think that's when the next mission window is. Like him or don't like him, it's pretty simple math to tell. We have more chance to have more difference and more like diversity if we're on like multiple planets, multiple rocks, different places. I like space travel. You know, I know it's not perfect, but it could be fun one day. Let me check. I'll check real quick if anybody else added their number or got in on the number wheel before we spin. I'm gonna do another dab or two as well. Sitting at almost an hour and 20. Got about 80 people in the house right now. Cheers, y'all. Cheers. I don't know who's on. I don't know how many's on Twitch. Twisted was rating Twitch here a little while ago. Twitch isn't very good for me, so I don't pay much attention. Hey, Tasha jumped in. Okay, cool. We got Tasha and Brendra. Brendra, did I give you? I think I gave Brendra a number. Let me check.
Good night, Rose.
Good night.
Good night, Rose. Tammy, what's up? Cheers. Tammy's been here for a while. Tammy, is this your first time watching people in the boxes? This is it's not for the faint of heart. It's funny because we weed out people who can't have difficult conversations pretty easily on this show. Like it gets pretty like and it's not. I don't purposely. I actually purposely try to take neutral approaches to most things. Because I don't, I want to play devil's advocate. I don't want to purposely have drama for the sake of drama. Because some people actually think, and it might be true, that if you have drama in your show, you'll get a bunch of people coming in or whatever. And it's like, okay, but
right.
I don't, I don't know.
I want the headache.
I don't know if I want those people, right?
What happened to that dude that was like the one that like went after me that one day?
He's a pretty strong supporter for men or male I don't know if I'd call him misogynist, but he's a coach. He's around. He does a thing on. He's got an X profile now.
Well, he hasn't been up since that day.
Yeah, he pops through once in a while, and I make sure he puts a shirt on before he comes on. So that might be why he doesn't come back.
No, but he sure was like, "All right, dude, shut the fuck up."
Rose posted him.
Yeah, he was.
Well, that's why I like to bring him up. It's like, well, let's see what he's got. You know, what do you got? What can you convince me of anything? Let's see. And I actually align with him on a lot of things, but not in like the same angle or the same like the tone that he's coming at it with. And I try to bring that up, but I think we've brought it up before. You know, you can attract more bees with honey than poop. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, he was certainly stinking it up that night.
Why does poop always come up on this show? I
I'm
gotta
not gonna say nothing.
Oh, yeah, 22. Okay, we're actually adding a number tonight. That's cool. I'm glad I checked. Adding Miss Tasha Chapman from Locals. Cheers,
Somebody
Tasha.
asked how you get a number.
Oh, hi, Patrick.
Hey guys, I gotta run. Much love to you. Thank you for having me. I'll see y'all next week.
King, have a good night, man.
You as
Thanks for
well.
popping in.
Behave
Stop
yourself.
shitting up the place there. Kim.
The book's coming out. We need to kind of have you come up
the
on a
book's coming
Tuesday.
out. The Art of Growing Cannabis, Becoming One with
Yeah.
the Plant. It'll be out in a few days. So enjoy
Okay.
it.
Yeah, you should. We should hook up on a Tuesday or something and do like
Okay.
a review night of it or something. But
Sure,
yeah, we'll
sure.
talk to you soon.
Definitely.
Or a Wednesday.
Yeah,
Oh no, we grow Wednesday. Yeah,
I got you in the book.
cool. Yeah, I'm in the book.
Yeah, you are. Of course, I'm gonna represent
Uh,
everybody that represents. You know.
Give
Come
me a
on,
second,
man.
Sheena. Yeah, hell yeah, bro. Appreciate it. We'll
Much
see
love.
you next week. Have a good night.
Later.
Yeah, guys, go check him out. King Nebulous on Facebook. He goes live too. Sheena, thank you for asking. I appreciate it. I try not to push it on people too often, but if you want to support me and all that I do, not just one show, but 5 and all the other things that I'm trying to get done, got lots of big dreams and big plans. If you want to help support me, get in on the community, and also win cool stuff and do cool things, and have hash and dash immunity for my giveaways and such like that. There's a lot of good perks to it, but if you want to do all that, you have to subscribe. That would be at a website called Locals, LOCALS.com. It is not a dating site, and it is a subscription platform. It's $2 a month or $20 for a whole year. Have a good night, Patrick. Thanks, brother.
Good night, Patrick.
Patrick Justine. Tammy, you and Sheena should join. Join up, ladies. Everyone else in the chat is in there, except Patrick. But everyone else in this chat is a subscriber. That's pretty cool. Like, I may not have like this wave of random people coming through here all the time because I don't get the algorithm doesn't love me. We'll just leave it at that. But I do find new people here and there, and we build our community one person at a time. Thanks, Tammy. LOCALS.com. Can't remember the name. Smashly. What name? TheIndoorFarmer.locals.com. Okay, this is our last spin for this week.
Good
We've
luck.
got the hat wheel filling up over here. Margaret Jet has purchased a hat. Margaret actually gets the only other cannabis hat with the cannabis leaves on it. She picked it and bought it first. And Sheena, that would be amazing.
This will.
You're gonna do what? Sorry.
I said I'm out of here too after this will.
Yeah, thanks for coming back up. Technical issues, sharing audio and such. But Sheena, let me know if you have any issues. Definitely, you get more perks if you go into the higher levels of subscription. You can do Pro for $5, Super Pro for $10, and I do, like I said, 5 different shows a week. Lots of different random goodies for my subscribers, plus game night on Sundays. Like tonight, Perry Wood won the game night ticket. I almost forgot to write that down. Game nights on Sunday after Miss Kim's show. Elisa, I'm sorry, I don't want to hold you up, but yeah, have a good night. Joe Kelly, what's up, man? I am still scared to try doing bubble hash because I want to get that 25 micron bag. I don't 45. Have a 25. 45. Okay. Oh yeah, that's right. I have a 25. I need to go on Amazon. I actually brought my wallet down here with this in mind. I don't normally need to have my wallet for the show, but I'm going to order a 45 micron bag, and hopefully that will make me feel more confident about it. Number 23. Wow.
Yeah, we're only a video or a call away, so you can always...
Well, he also sent me videos. I'm going to rewatch those. I'm going to, make sure I check it out again. But yeah, I'll get there.
He made some recently. He's got some drying, so that should be good soon. All right, awesome. You're awesome, Waylon, the indoor farmer. Good night.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Night.
Okay, let me write that down. That was Perry got the ticket. And number 23. Oh, yeah, I didn't say it, but you can go follow Lisa May. She does a lot of posts and does all kinds of photography work and shares the love and spreads love. The last entry was Tasha Chapman. Tasha Chapman Reed, I believe, is on Facebook. Let me see. Try to make your name something that I'll know. I mean, a lot of people are on there, and I don't know who you are. You just have to, because the screen name's different or whatever. I heard someone say it today, and I'll never forget it. That means I have to remember 2 names for that same person, and we have to do that on Facebook too. It's like that's a little bit much when you only have so many names in your head, you know. All right, I'm gonna do another dab, and we'll get out of here. Been a good night. We could really go on and on about current events. I let us get all over the place, but I think there was some big stuff happening this week, no matter how you slice it. And I try to pay enough attention, but I also try not to get caught up in it like a lot of people do. And if I do, I usually try to look into it. And a lot of times what happens is something comes out, explodes, and then the next day you find out, oh, that's not really what happened. This is what happened, you know?
Well, there's so much hyperbole and sensationalism, and
Oh, yeah.
like this whole story with the Haitians eating the cats and dogs and whatever started with JD Vance, and
I don't know about that.
that's he's the one that's being attributed.
I've seen him talk about it, I guess, but yes, he probably has talked about it. I'm not gonna discount that.
Well, that's
But
where
I've seen Ohio residents trying to plead with their municipality to like do something about it. I
yeah.
saw that. That was a
But it
pretty.
made national news after JD Vance opened his mouth about it. Because before
Well,
that,
good.
it was yeah. I mean, is it
We
good?
need some light on it because it sounds like the
But does
local
it need
citizens
to
are
be? That's a
getting.
community thing. Like when they were first talking about migrants. Migrants is a broad term. There's all kind of people that migrate
Right,
here.
Barry. It started with the eating of the local wildlife. Good night, Sheena.
But they label them as migrants, and so in my way of thinking, migrants are these people that are coming over our southern border. And I'm sitting there going,
Mm,
I've lived here all of my life. I have never
not
seen.
migrants. Those are
No, they're
illegally
migrants. These are people. The people
illegal
that are
migrants.
coming over here are migrating here out of Venezuela and whatnot because of all the
Like 150 other countries. Yeah.
well, and there's people that are coming in otherwise with them, but
Yeah.
they're still migrants.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Migrant
not
is a
legal
person
ones.
that migrates. So, but I've lived in this area all of my life, and so I'm sitting here like, what the hell is he talking about? I've never heard of such a thing. And so, and then like I start poking my nose into it. Well, they're talking about Haitians. Well, shit, we don't have any Haitians migrating here where I'm at. Where are they migrating at? Oh, they're migrating in Ohio. Okay.
No, they were bused there or planed there.
No, they weren't
a little bit different.
there. They were, from what I understand from my research, the leadership of Springfield marketed their community to them. So I don't know.
I mean, that's probably true. Sanctuary. I mean, that's true, but like we're running into
those people that migrated there legally. They weren't illegal migrants. They were people that came here legally, based on my research. So,
wait. So, but we're talking about different things here. I don't think we can tell who's actually killing the duck unless you walk up and like talk to the guy that's like chopping the head off and saying, "Sir, where are you from?" Like we could it could be a lot of countries that like
yeah, but Haitian people.
So we're conflating two things here. What like the Haitian population in Ohio, Springfield, Ohio, and this problem happening in Ohio, where supposedly in front of people, it's just happening. So I think that's where that's the distinction here. Like, we don't know, unless there's probably more people on the ground there. I don't live there. We don't even really need to worry about it, other than the fact that it blew up this whole national conversation, where there are other places in the country, a lot of places, that people are eating the stuff that we've been talking about,
Yeah, but
dog, cats, ducks.
the purpose of the whole dropping this whole thing wasn't to start a national conversation about other people.
I'm just saying that it did,
other
though.
cultures eating dogs, cats, whatever.
But that's good. I'm saying that's good that it did.
It was to target migrants. It was to label and target migrants. Oh, look what these nasty migrants are doing.
Maybe, but it's also was also happening. So that's the problem.
Yeah, but who cares?
In the first place.
Like, who cares?
We talked about this. Like, grandma's feeding the ducks, throwing peas to the ducks, and right like 10 feet away, the duck she just fed, little Stevie the duck, little Jimmy the duck, and he's down there beheading the duck. Like, are you telling me doesn't seem like an odd sort of like maybe situation that conflicts? I don't know. It just seems odd.
It's definitely a situation that I don't want to see, but it's not happening in my community. Is it happening in your community?
Cheers,
Whose
Michael.
community is it happening in?
Well, this is my city doesn't have a giant park like this. This is a city like I don't know, New York is the only one I can think of, Central Park, right? But this is a city that must have some kind of central park. So it must be a good sized city. I'm just making guesses, but anyway.
Well, my city is a city of 150,000, and we have a park with a pond where there's ducks.
Perry wants to know if you want them living next to you.
And El Paso, our 45 minutes away from us here to the east, has Ascarity Lake, which is a humongous park. They're not having problems with people doing that to ducks. The only place that it's happening is over there. And the person that, and it wasn't even couched with the ducks. Trump didn't say a thing about ducks. He said dogs and cats.
That could be happening too, because that story of that lady.
Yeah, I had a conversation with Shane Briggs. I think it was Shane Briggs yesterday or today or something. I can't remember when it was, where we were talking about he lives in Virginia, and he was saying that there's a number of restaurants there that have been closed down because they were serving cats and dogs instead of whatever.
Yeah, that's actually happened here too.
Yeah, and I can see that happening because you have Asian people is the typical culture associated with eating cats and dogs.
I've heard that a lot of Asian people don't like being called Asian.
Well, I don't know what you call them then.
Well, but then in reverse, when you call someone white, like there's so many places that you could be. When you say Caucasian is not actually every like that's a place. The Caucasus, like not every white person is from there either. So that's not even an accurate term. We like to make up terms and change terms. I think I understand why Egyptians ended up with hieroglyphs, like, 'cause that's where we're going. Like, there's just like we just keep changing language so much it turned into emojis now. It's like we don't need words, we just need a picture of someone who does this thing. And like, okay, that means the thing. Like, there you go. Like, I don't know. I think that's how we ended up, because we're now talking like hieroglyphics on our phones. It's crazy.
Well, we've gone from original language, written language being cuneiforms, some kind of symbols, to a written language, and now we're digressing back to going back to the Dark Ages.
Yeah, I mean, but I feel like it's a pendulum. I don't know how we get past that unless we have.
I don't know. I'm scared to death we're going to end up back in the Dark Ages, though, because.
Well, we've got the bubonic plague coming out from homeless encampments in LA. Like the plague from like hundreds of years ago is resurfacing.
Did you hear where what's that dude? What's the guy from Microsoft? Bill Gates? Is that
Steve Jobs?
No, Microsoft. That's Steve Jobs was Apple, and he's dead.
Yeah.
But I saw an article
You have to say it like that? Damn. Go ahead.
when I go into Google, you know how I don't know, Google has like a bunch of news articles, but I was flipping through them today, and he's talking about that in the next several decades that we're either going to be hit with another catastrophic plague or be involved in a major war.
Well, yeah. Plague because of all the chemicals that he's spewing into the farmlands or whatever he's doing. Just insert evil vaccine program from Bill Gates, and suddenly we have a plague. Well, look, we found a more deadly version of COVID, and we've created making it more transmissible.
What do you mean?
They did that happened. It was like 2021. They were making they came out that in a lab they took the not Omicron, but whatever the one was after that, the one that before we stopped like naming them, that they said was like the most deadly strain. They found a way to combine the most deadly strain with the very first strain, which was the most transmissible. And
who's they found a way?
it was in America, some lab. I'd have to look it up, but it was. I remember it being a legitimate story where they were like, I mean, look, go find it yourself, I guess, guys. Don't take my word for it. But I saw a story where it was like, yeah, we've done it, you know, and it's in a lab condition. Don't worry. Like, why though? What is the necessity for that? But hey, listen, we could weaponize it. That's called weaponization of a virus.
Well, that was the whole reason why
Gain of function.
That was the whole reason why George Bush created that. It was a team of epidemiologists that watched out. I can't remember what they were called, but the name of the team or whatever. But he created a team of epidemiologists during his administration to watch out for these viruses, because it was during his administration when SARS first came out. There was all those threats of biological warfare being used in subways in New York and stuff like that, and it scared the hell out of him. The same one that Donald Trump disbanded when he took office.
The gain of function people?
That? Huh?
Who? Which? I'm sorry, which one?
There was a team of epidemiologists that George Bush created. So epidemiologists have been like, they've had like a supply of, you know, respirators and what do you call it? The clothing that you wear.
I remember we were down on a lot of that stuff when he was.
Yeah, there's a reason why we were down on it. So
I'm pretty sure
it was during Reagan's administration that I think it was Reagan's administration that they started collecting that stuff. But it was when George W. was in office, because he faced those crises with biological warfare and whatnot, and the SARS outbreak. The first SARS outbreak, that he created a team of epidemiologists that were like tracking all the viruses in the world. And that's one of the reasons why, because it was during Obama's administration when they had, H1N1, Zika, the second SARS. There's a bunch of viruses that broke out during Obama's, but they didn't go anywhere because we had that team of epidemiologists that, that tracked that shit. And when you have a virus like that break out that's highly transmissible, you have to take steps immediately to prevent it from spreading. And so I got H1N1 within 2 weeks of that outbreak. I was in California at the time, and I was ungodly sick. It was horrible. Never had so much snot in my entire life. But when Trump came in, he disbanded that. It completely went away. All of those people that had been amassed, he didn't keep up with the protective stuff, and the respirators there was a lot of issues. So we really got caught with our pants down.
I think that we were depleted on all that stuff when he took office.
Could be.
Pretty sure.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure if I remember right.
I'm not really sure exactly what caused us to not.
But we found out we didn't need respirators. Respirators were what was killing people. There was a lot that happened, but he did let Fauci kind of tell him what to do, sort of take the reins. And he still touts the vaccine, which is kind of crazy, but hey, that was a very unusual time, I would say. But I remember the 2019 of November, I think, when the World Economic Forum did a game plan of a global pandemic. So a little too on the nose, if you ask me. A couple months, actually, probably when it was already out there, but a couple months before we heard it in the news and stuff. And you look at some parties that were pushing that, no, everything's fine. You can come on down to Chinatown. Like there was a lot of, like, let's not pretend that we had all forces working towards our benefit at that time. I think there was a lot going on that we don't know. And let's look at, like, today's 9/12. There are still major questions about 9/11 that we're never gonna get answered. And that I think alone kind of can lead us to the idea that, okay, there are literal, like, I don't know if battle plan is right. Literal, like, plans of tyranny that involve creating a crisis in your own nation and we call it, what do we call that? There's a word for it. In order to start a war, but there's a word for it. Cassius belli, I think maybe is the right term. But it's a way for them to, like, rally our country against an enemy that we'd actually may not even have. It might even be real. The issue is that, like, I think 9/11 did a lot of it, because we have now what the Patriot Act and all of these things being turned against us, like a lot of people were warning against, and now they, like, needed something a little bigger. I think we're going to see something even bigger. I think every pandemic that you mentioned earlier, a lot of them were squashed early because they were during a different administration that didn't want to make it look really bad. And Donald Trump had, let's like him or don't like him, he had people from every side against him, including his own side. And so, like, people that he hired were snakes and stuff. And so, like, there were some bad people that in a guy that is not normally in politics, like, you definitely could see a lot of things go wrong during that kind of a time, a thing that hasn't happened since, the turn of the last century. So I don't know, that's something that is very difficult to pin on anybody, because the whole country was trying to make political gain out of a pandemic, or out of just multiple things happening. We know it came from China. We know it came from Wuhan. We know it came from a lab now. Like, it's none of those things are conspiracy anymore. Isn't that not conspiracy? Conspiracy theory. Conspiracy is a real thing. Conspiracy theory is a theory on something that might be a conspiracy. Like, so we know those things happen now. Have you seen some of that? Like, we know it came from a lab, and we also funded it. We funded it. America was funding that lab.
Well, yes,
I'm pretty sure that's real.
But here's the thing. China, if I'm not
100%,
if I remember correctly, China was only supposed to have a certain level of lab. They were not allowed to have the higher level lab. I can't remember how they There's
Right,
higher
which means
level labs where you have like these really, really bad diseases. And
that'll be the next
China
one.
has never been cleared to have those because they don't have the hygiene practices to be able to.
What? Who's telling them that? Who's deciding that?
I don't know. I don't know what
The World Health
organization.
Organization, maybe?
No, it's not the World Health Organization. I don't know what the governing body is for that. But they were not supposed to have that virus. So I don't know that we'll ever know exactly whatever with that virus. I don't know that we'll ever know that, just like I don't think we'll ever know why John F. Kennedy was assassinated, Bobby Kennedy, Malcolm X, Martin Luther.
Well, we know why. I mean, they make movies about like if you watch enough movies.
Sit there and you can assume and you can conspire.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying
we will
that's not what
never
I'm saying.
know the real reason. We will never know the truth of all of that ever because it is.
I agree.
So well hidden. Those people that probably were involved in it are probably all dead, and you know I don't know that we'll ever know the truth.
So I agree, but my point is that we know enough scenarios, enough different possible scenarios. We don't need to know the exact truth, but we do probably know this. And I think there's probably very few people that would disagree, but with JFK, we pretty much he was doing things, whatever it was that the powers that be didn't like, that might or might not have been the military industrial complex. They decided they'd have to make a lesson out of them, and I think that's probably like a generalized idea, but the same thing with the towers. Like, things don't add up.
I think it's different because you had JFK killed, you had Malcolm X killed, you had Martin Luther killed, Bobby Kennedy,
Abraham Lincoln.
Abraham Lincoln died like 100 years before that.
Yeah, but people get murdered or assassinated for a lot of political reasons all the time.
Yes, they do, and I think
that's as simple as it is.
I firmly believe. I don't think it's coincidence that all four of those people related to civil rights were all killed, all assassinated around the same period of time. I think it's related to civil rights.
Yeah, COVID did turn into a money grab. Look at all those elderly people that got killed just by getting having a bunch of COVID patients be put in their nursing homes.
Terrible.
Can you imagine, like, deciding to do that? Oh yeah,
vaccines.
Yeah. Well, whether they wanted to do it on purpose or not, now most people or a lot of people, I would guess, are leery of vaccines. I am.
I'm not leery of vaccines.
You're not leery of surgery either. You must like surgery. You've had like a bunch.
No, I'm a firm believer in whatever's wrong with me, I'm going to fix it before I get too old and die from it.
Yeah. I just have seen some cases where surgery it can be things that you can't come back from, and depending on what it is. I like stem cells. I really want to get into more current news on stem cells.
Yeah.
Because I think they don't always work. They don't always, like they say, hold, or what's the other term? They don't always take. But yeah. I wonder. What I don't know is that, like, does that mean you could do a second dose, and maybe it would take the second time? I don't know. Smash says, "I
don't know."
Passing out. Okay. Good night, Smashley. Have a good night.
Good night.
All right. Anytime you under the knife is scary. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But 9/11, I firmly believe that there's something more to 9/11, because you cannot tell me
I think
they didn't know that was going to happen. You cannot tell me that.
With all the knowledge we have about them, knowing the pilots and knowing the.
Dude, I was watching that whole fucking thing take place on TV. I turned on. I watched the Today Show every morning.
How did they know to have it turned on so quick too? They had it on so fast we could watch the second plane. Everyone could see the second plane. Like, that was fast for the news to have it on.
Well, dude, did you not? you probably weren't watching this stuff, but there's
I was in school. We watched it.
there's like this computer printer
Oh, I
thing.
think it wasn't that bad.
The Wire, I think is what they call it, or something like that. And it prints out reports from all over the place. And that thing was fucking going haywire. Because I remember the Today Show. I turned it on. Taylor and my son and my dad were in the kitchen. I'm in the living room. I came in to put my makeup on so that I could go to work like I usually do. And my dad and Taylor were blah, blah, blahing in there. And I turned the TV on and I'm still half asleep. And I'm looking at this screen going, what the fuck is going on? Like, why are they showing this picture of this building on fire? And so I'm standing there in front of the TV trying to make sense of it. And then I realize that it's like a big issue. And I can't understand because everybody's talking. And I said, Dad, you guys be quiet. Something serious is happening. So they stopped talking. We were watching it. And then my dad's like, we got to go. So they left. And it was within 30 minutes of that they knew that we had been attacked by terrorists. And they had the fucking vehicle of the terrorists. That showed video footage of them surrounding the vehicle and trying to determine if it had explosives and calling in bomb squad and all of this stuff. So you cannot tell me and that was just the New York police.
But
right?
they had the terrorists surrounded? I thought they died on the plane.
No, their vehicle. They left their vehicles in storage. You cannot tell me then this is just the New York City police people or whatever. Maybe the ATF was involved. I don't know.
Sounds
you cannot tell me that our president didn't fucking know about this shit.
I just think that the way the buildings came down was so weird. Like I'm not an expert, but man, you would think.
And so remember all the controversy with going into Iraq because they had weapons of mass destruction, and that whole case, it played out in our freaking Congress. It was a big debate. It was a big debate in the country.
Didn't they find some residue of like yellow cake or whatever? But that was like could have been from the
they were making a case. They were trying to make a case to go into Iraq, and so they were pulling out all the stops. And I used to there was a group that I used to hang with, and we would get together every week or every couple of weeks or whatever, and we would sit there and we would talk politics. And I told them, I said, dude, George Bush is making a case to go into Syria and all of these other Middle Eastern.
Not just him, but yeah, for sure.
And we argued, and I said, mark my words, that's exactly what he's trying to do, right? And so as time goes on, he's trying to make his case to get in there. And then several years after he left office, one of his people wrote a book and said that's exactly what he was doing. So there's something more to that whole 9/11 thing than meets the eye. It's the same thing as with Roosevelt, FDR. FDR knew that Pearl Harbor was going to be attacked. He was looking for a way.
Oh, I heard this one. Okay.
Oh, yes. He was looking for a way
to
get the United States into the war because
It's called a Cassius Belli, I think.
Huh?
A Cassius Belli. Cassius Belli?
I'm not.
There's a term for it. It's an attack on your own people in order to get them riled up.
Yeah.
I'll look it up real quick.
But I don't know if he realized the magnitude. Like, I don't know, but I know that he knew that we were going to be attacked, and he let it happen because they wanted to get into the war, and the American people were very isolationist at the time, and they, it just wasn't going to happen. But it sure as shit happened after we got attacked, because how dare they? So
I don't know how to spell this.
Huh?
I have no idea how to spell it.
What?
Oh, I think I found it. Yeah, okay. Cassius Belli. No, that's not right. I don't know how to spell it, but I know the term.
Well,
That's sad.
call it to your Google. Use your Google.
I don't have that on my.
What's it called? A Cassius belly?
It's I think I don't know what country that term is from, but like Cassius belly or Cassius belly. I don't know how to say it.
Like belly as in stomach?
No, it's like French or something. I don't know how to.
What is Cassius belly?
It's like a maneuver.
What is the Cassius belly maneuver?
Maybe Timothy knows.
What is a desirable belly button?
Nah, well, I guess we're not going to figure it out. It's trying to spell another term from another language.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never heard of that. But it's very Machiavellian. I would term it as Machiavellian. So Machiavelli was a political philosopher during the times of the Medicis. He wrote The Prince and some other stuff that are very influential in political science. I've had to read a lot of his stuff, which I'm not.
Margaret found it. Sorry, I'm dying over here.
Occasion for war. You're dying?
Yeah, if you could read that for me.
So from Latin, casus belli, occasion for war, plural casus belli, is an act or an event that either provokes or is used to justify a war. A casus belli involves direct offenses or threats against the nation declaring the war, whereas casus foederis involves offenses or threats against its ally, usually one bound by a mutual defense pact. Either may be considered an act of war. A declaration of war usually contains a description of the casus belli that has led the part. So it's Latin, which French is a Latin language, but
I see. Well, I was close, something like that.
So that's kind of, I don't know. Yeah.
To do like a fake attack in some way to like try to make something happen.
Well, it's just like, the whole cause of Vietnam.
Okay. Yep.
They were looking to get into war with that, I think.
We stopped calling wars, and they're just police actions.
Yeah, well, whatever. It's still a war. I'm still going to call it a war.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think in general, just the anyway, I don't want to get into that actually.
Don't want to go there.
Well, I was just like, that could suck us down a whole nother rabbit hole. I was just going to say, like, being pro-America in the points of not wanting us to be in forever wars or any wars that aren't anything to do with our country or direct allies, and wanting to seal, shore up our defenses and borders. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't care what you think is happening or not happening at the border.
You know what I think? You know what I think? I think that there is a movement, or I think that there is a growing movement. I don't think it's as big. I don't know, and I don't know how big it's going to get or where it's going to go. But there was a time when people just migrated. People came to this continent. They estimate like 35,000 years ago, could be longer ago than that, across a land bridge chasing woolly mammoths. And that's where our Native American populations came from, were these people. That's been proven by DNA. These people came from somewhere over by Mongolia.
There were people here before them.
Could be, but
There's a lot of pyramids in America. They're not made the same as pyramids in Egypt. They're like rock pyramids
yeah.
underground under a bunch of forests and stuff. They found pyramids in America.
Yeah. Well, the current Native Americans migrated here an estimated 35,000 years ago. It could be longer ago than that. I don't know. But except for the Cherokee are the only one that they don't know where they came from. But I can't remember the point I was going to make with that.
I think she was going to say, a baby, she's a Chippewa. No, she's a one of a kind.
What I was going to say is people migrated. They're fucking hunter-gatherers. And it's not until they became farmers, until they started learning agriculture, that people started like owning the land. And it's funny because you really never own the land.
Too.
Huh?
Yeah, but that's a population size thing too. Like you can't have 8 billion people migrating.
No, I understand that, but I'm just saying, like, so I watched this video like 20 years ago on Discovery Channel, and it was a video about that caldera or whatever it is that they have in Wyoming that's under Yellowstone. Are you familiar with that? That if it blows up, that it's going to decimate. It's huge. It's a caldera, and it's like rising. So it's a lot of pressure. And so this video, this documentary, whatever you want to call it, that they played, was talking about if that caldera burst, if it blew up, it would be a catastrophic event. And that people in North America would probably start migrating the hell out of the United States, because
I don't know if you can escape it. That would actually blot out the sun for quite a while and actually cause.
But people would still, because people are survivors, right? Or a lot of people are. So you're going to have people that are going to start fucking migrating, and that's just what people do. It's like people are surviving.
We also explore. So like, think about moving to Mars, or some of us going to Mars as partially as migrating and exploring.
Yeah. But we migrate. It's like, so this whole concept of borders and stuff like that. And don't get me wrong, I'm not against borders. Like I'm very much an American.
Well, wouldn't you say it's an advancement though, because it came after hunter-gatherer, after figuring out agriculture?
But what do we know about history is that it repeats itself, that things come and go.
They say it rhymes now. Have you heard that? They say it doesn't repeat itself, it rhymes. They say history rhymes.
I don't think I've ever heard that term.
Yeah, so it repeats itself in a way, but slightly different, like how, rhyme, dime, time, lime. That's repeating it yourself, but a little different too, a little twist. Now we've got guns, we had swords before, now we had,
yeah,
like it is repeating itself, but things are different. So I like the rhyming. History rhymes.
Yeah,
it's a new thing, so I've heard of some people using it. I'm like, I'll use it. I didn't make it up. Okay, everybody.
You didn't make it up. You can't claim. You can't claim the fame there. Yeah, but I don't know. I'm an observer of things, and I teach history, and I watch. Have a background in psychology and stuff as well. So I just watch people's behavior, and I watch their interactions, and I notice things. And it's like, I don't know, people are starting to migrate a lot.
Well, I don't mind migration, but we do need to regulate it a little bit, just like Bernie Sanders said.
Well, I agree with you. I don't listen.
Tyler.
There's certain things like I am a conservative.
Wow, what? Oh, hold on, we got Tyler in the comments. Wow, what, Tyler? Tell us. Let it loose. Give it to us. What's your perspective?
I am a very conservative person. There are certain things about me that are uber conservative. So
Uber.
Uber. I don't agree with I don't like. I firmly feel like we let way too many people legally migrate into this country. I do not like the numbers of people that they allow to migrate into this country.
Well, I mean,
I'm not necessarily in
we
isolation,
do all the things.
but we let too many people, and I see the parallels of Rome.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Rome did
parallels
the
to
same
Rome, that's
thing.
for sure.
Rome
But you
did
know what
the
I like
same
to think
thing.
of though is that other countries are still here. You know, like France has been through a lot of like revolutions and things like that, and there's still there's still a France. So there might still be in America. It'll just be like a whole different face on us here soon. You know what I mean? The land is still here.
So the land is still going to be here regardless of what you
Yeah.
call it. You know,
So,
that's
like,
why it
you know.
amuses me because
Unbelievable,
like,
Tyler.
Earth
Okay,
doesn't
tell us what's
belong
up.
to anybody. The Earth doesn't belong to anybody. You know, and everybody is over here, including myself. I'm getting ready to buy a house, and it's sitting on a piece of earth, and it's going to be my property. Is it really? Because when I die,
What's
it's not going to be
happening?
my property. It's going to return back to something else.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like I said, population has brought up the need to have things like cities and band together and have armies and things like that. Like that's it was all out of necessity. You can't just continue roaming.
No,
Even
I know.
Indians fought each other all the time, and
Anarchy.
our Native Americans back, when we called them Indians back then. But
Yeah,
that was the thing. Like, I don't know. Most of the consensus is they actually wish that some of that stuff was left alone, as far as us changing names of crap and stuff like that. I own 2 acres, Perry. Okay. You're in Ohio, Tyler. Okay. So maybe you were watching. Did you watch? You might have saw some of our earlier, because we haven't talked about that for a little bit, but we were talking about it a lot. Well, I guess he's talking about immigration in general. So he lives in Ohio. So can you give us any sort of firsthand knowledge on what's going on there? Anything? Let's hear it. We were talking about it. There's a lot of nuance to it. I mean, I don't care if even some of it's true. Like, if you can find the parts that matter, then you have to decide whether it matters to you. But like, honestly, it was getting blown out of proportion too. Oh, Gabe's here too. We're at in Ohio.
I just feel like, I don't know, it's just blown out of proportion, a lot of stuff.
I think if you are looking at things in just a today fashion, then yeah, it looks blown out of proportion. But if you're looking at things 10 years in the past and sort of thinking about or trying to look at the future, or trying to, plan ahead, then I feel like you need to decide, like, hey, is this a bad thing? Is there a pattern happening here? Is there a slippery slope? Whatever it is, if you feel like the neighborhood you're living in, the city you're living in, you feel like it's changed too much, like, to your point, we migrate. We used to do that in this country. We'd be like, okay, let me move across the country to like get a job on the railroad, or like find a job in the forestry or whatever. We used to just move when we, needed to, but we kind of get stuck now. Okay, Tyler, I don't think that actually happened. It wasn't in Springfield. It was somewhere near that, though, I think.
It was in Canton, Ohio. And the
Canton,
lady that did it, the lady that ate it, had a long rap sheet with the police in Canton.
Did you see the meme of a girl whispering into another girl's ear, and it says, I hear he eats," and it shows a cat emoji like a Haitian. And the other girl's like, it's like, wow, like people just went straight like to the moon with it instantly.
Yeah, a lot of people were talking about
All good, Tyler. All good.
that they like to eat kitty.
People eat anything, yeah.
Word, because like I'm just not like that, but yeah, they took it to.
Still ate it, yeah, that's for sure.
They took it to the sexual double entendre.
I don't know that she was Haitian though, Perry. Yeah, this lady got arrested for eating a cat, but was she?
She was not Haitian.
Okay, yeah, I didn't think so. That's why I'm like, so we're kind of like
one of two things with that woman, because I saw the video like where they were arresting her and the cop was asking her, "Did you eat the cat?"
Sure. Yeah.
Or something like that, and she looked out of it. She looked like she was either under the influence of something or she was like mentally disabled or something. There was just something about her that wasn't. There was something about her that wasn't right.
They don't own animals, yeah. But if it's been, I mean, I guess it must be a new thing this year.
Well, the thing is, though, is she got charged with a crime because it's a federal crime to harm
Is it
animals.
Irish?
Is it Irish?
She looks as she isn't Irish. Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna assume Haitian though. Like she just looks. She's got brown skin. I'm not gonna like. I don't know. Haitians are pretty black, like very dark skinned, right?
Some of them are.
Oh, hey.
Haitians were.
We got a special guest in the house.
Hey, Steve.
Oh, he's muted.
Am I?
Oh, there you are. I hear you now. I didn't hear any noise.
What's up, buddies?
Haiti was originally a French colony.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Where'd you go, Steve-O?
Oh, I
Perry.
bumped my camera. Let's see. There we go. Now it's back. Sorry.
I was say you wouldn't be the only guest that bopped in and out a couple times tonight.
That's all right. Were you in the middle of something?
Are you ready?
Oh, not really. We were actually gonna
cat.
do what?
I said, are you ready to eat some cat?
Yeah, that sounds like no. That sounds naughty. Either way you look at it, no matter how you slice it.
Yeah, I didn't think of that, Waylon.
Smash dab. Check this out. Thanks, Tyler. My immigration is not just in the United States.
Until you said something.
The memes have been crazy. Like AI pictures of Trump with angel wings rescuing ducks and cats, and just like it is not funny at all. Well, listen, Perry, I agree that it's not funny, and if it was happening near me, I'd be trying to do something about it. I see people in Ohio trying to do something about it. I don't think I'm going to travel there to help. No, unfortunately, no offense to Ohioans.
Did I walk into something here?
No, we're in the after hours now. Right now, we're just chit chatting about the immigration problem that people are bringing up in Ohio. Now, to Perry's point, there was a woman who got arrested for killing a cat and eating it. Not just killing and like taking it home and eating it right there.
Yeah, and the person's driveway, it looked like. It's like, ugh.
So, yeah, and I mean, and Perry, if it's about the person eating a cat is not funny, then I agree. But at the same time, there's probably more countries that eat cats and dogs than don't. So I mean that for me kind of takes out the like, yeah, I love animals like the next person, but in America anyway. But well, I can't say in America, but
I don't know what to say. Remember that show Fear Factor?
Yeah. Joe Rogan, early days.
Disgusting shit that they used to have people eat. Pigs' uteruses and all kinds of nasty stuff.
Perry, if my dog was barbecued, I would treat it just like these people are treating it. But my point is like the overblown portion of it, which was way out of control. Like we have to be able to figure out the nuance here. It went from this lady who, yes, she has brown skin. Maybe she's Haitian. Maybe she's not. Eating a cat.
The police said
she's not Haitian. Okay, they say that she's not Haitian. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe they're lying. Who cares? My point is, went from that to this other story, a separate story of actual Haitians killing ducks in the park, and then it got blown out to like all Haitians are after all your pets, and it just like there was a little bit of a that's where the humor is as far as like you have to laugh at it because people are going way too far. Now, I'm not going to get out there and get mad at people for going too far. That would do no good for no one.
Cheers.
I'm not laughing at the cat dying. Like that's not the point here. Like if somebody in my neighborhood was killing animals, I think I would be getting with my neighbors. I would be trying to form some kind of a connection, a way to call each other if in case something's going on, like because the police aren't going to be able to get there and save your animal. Like you have to have. And I know some people that just let their dog out off the leash, no fence. There's this dog by my house. I have to drive by and make sure the dog.
Sorry.
I have to make sure the dog is out of the street when I drive by, because the dog just chills outside. Like, what the hell? Is it because they're hungry, or that's what they prefer? I don't know, Margaret. That's a good question.
Well, it's just like I was saying earlier, when I read 20 Years at Hull House. It was a book by Jane Addams, I want to say, or I don't know, what was that lady's name? Anyway, she was out of Chicago. And one of the things that people were doing is they were migrating here, in the 1800s, they were migrating here in mass. There was such a mass of humanity that was coming here to the United States. And they were bringing their ways with them. So if they were migrating from a rural place in, say, France or Ireland or wherever, they'd have right there in the middle of a city a very dense population raising their chickens and killing their goats for food and stuff right there. And it was a sanitation problem. And while they weren't necessarily doing anything wrong in doing that, that's what people naturally do. They didn't have supermarkets back then. You can't do that. That's where they started regulating things. They started a trash service, because back in those days, the trash was thrown in the street. They didn't have anybody to pick it up. And so then that breeds a lot of diseases that kill people and whatnot. So
yeah,
I tend to think that these Haitian people, if they're eating ducks and geese and whatever, that it's probably, they're not doing it out of malice, I don't think. I think it's just.
Oh, no. I doubt it, yeah. But if I've seen a guy carrying like a machete and a headless duck,
yeah,
it wouldn't be not scary,
That's not something I want my grandkids to see. I don't want to see that.
Right. It would be a little
grandkids to see that. It's not an appropriate thing in this setting. It may be appropriate.
Here's what I think. I think it's a money thing. It's cheaper. It's like they were like, hey, we gotta what? We gotta go to this grocery store thing. What? I just saw a duck. Across the way. Like I got that. Like they, let me rig up I don't know how they're killing them, just catching them by hand. Like that's crazy.
So
I caught him.
Yeah, like how do you do that, man? Like ducks move whenever I get anywhere close to them.
They're being fast, little fuckers.
Yeah,
they're fast little fuckers. So I have a story.
Maybe.
I was about 9 years old, and me and my friend were I was at a Catholic boarding school, and me and my friend ran away that morning, and we went to a Scaredy Lake, and we were there all day, and we started getting hungry. And so I had the bright idea, because I'm the country girl, right? Because my dad was a hunter and all that.
Oh, yeah.
So I have this bright idea that we're going to catch one of them ducks, and then we're going to steal some charcoal, and we're going to cook that duck at the park and eat it.
You told me this story. I remember this.
Yeah. And we chased those friggin' ducks and didn't catch a single one of them.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Probably, I'm guessing.
But
a weapon could be fashioned with or maybe a rock. You chuck a rock at a duck's head, man. No, I'm not saying you should, but
yeah.
A duck with no seasoning would be so gamey.
Very greasy too, yeah.
Yeah, but if you're I don't know.
If you're hungry, but
I don't know. And they have seasonings, Oh yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just glad that I didn't get a hold of the duck. I would the person that I am, I will have to live with knowing what I did. And I'm just thankful that that didn't ever, you know, that
Like, we
didn't.
got it. Now what? I don't know. It's poking me with its beak.
We used to hunt rabbits and raccoons when I was a kid, and I didn't think anything of it. But when we would go to the farms and stuff and see the pigs killed, stuff like that was, man, that was a whole like 1,000 levels higher. That was kind of traumatic for most of us kids. They shouldn't have shown us that. We should have had to have been older to have seen that. I mean, it's one thing to skin a rabbit. I mean, it's like, well, if you can do that, what's the big deal? Well, it's a whole another level. So I don't know. I guess you draw your own line where you draw the line. About what you'll do or see and what situation you're in too. If you're starving, you'll do pretty much anything.
I'll eat a worm if I got to eat a worm. Like, I'm a survivor.
Wow.
So.
Famous last words. I'll eat that worm.
I'll eat that worm.
He's probably eaten a couple tequila worms too in the past down there. And
I've had a few of them when I was young.
really, I never thought about it.
I have never had a tequila worm.
Yeah, it just tastes like shit. It's just mush. It's just mush, but it doesn't get you fucked up. I mean,
trick you to tell you it is.
Well, the way it is usually it'll be a big shot. It'll fill the neck of the bottle, and that shot's what'll fuck you up, not the damn worm.
Yeah.
It's usually that double that you end up chugging.
And you're chugging it fast because you want the mush to get down in there deep.
Because in on the round end of the bottle, this much looks like it's nothing, but when you flip the bottle up, it fills the neck and then some.
Yeah.
It's actually a big fucking shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not gonna let it go back in the bottle and look wimpy. So you're gonna chug a double, and that's what's gonna get you usually.
I used to be able to drink tequila, no chaser. I'm not that guy anymore. Ooh.
Yeah,
I can drink tequila, no chase. That's the way we drink it here. Either that or in margaritas, but I don't like margaritas. I don't like that stuff they put in it. It's nasty.
When's the last time you had a drink, Kim?
Yeah.
Oh, it's been a couple of years.
What?
I don't drink that much anymore.
You think you could still take a shot of tequila, no chaser now?
Oh, yes, I could.
Ooh.
Sure
The only liquor that I found that I cannot just chug like plain is
Southern
bourbon.
Comfort.
Bourbon. Bourbon, for some reason, it gets down in my stomach and it comes right back up. I have to drink bourbon with something. I have to mix it.
Any whiskeys for me is not that. I'm not a whiskey guy either. Jim Beam. Oh,
I don't like the taste of Jim Beam. I'm a Jack Daniel's Crown, but it will not stay on my stomach if I just drink it like shots.
Well, Jim Beam and stuff like that is like lighter fuel already. You know what I mean? It's pretty strong. I would rather have something. Like what is that? Jack Daniel's. Man, I OD'd on that nearly. I think once it puked so bad that the smell of it for years was like immediately. And now I can sip on it, but still just that memory, man. If I don't get that thought out of my head, man, I can literally chuck on it just for that reason.
Timothy says coming up on 8 years alcohol free. Congrats, Timothy.
Yeah. That's awesome. I did that with tequila. I killed a bottle of 1800 Cuervo when I was 16, an entire bottle. And we came back home and I was with a friend that was 22. And we came back to my house to get her car. And I crawled into the back of the house. We had a big room. And I was like laying on the floor and she came over and she stuck a bathroom trash can under my face and stuck her fingers down my throat and made me puke because otherwise I probably would have died. Nice. I had a hangover for 3 days and I still to this day cannot stand the smell of cheap tequila.
cheap cologne? Did you drink it when you're so an
Oh,
alcoholic?
no, I never did that. No, cheap tequila. Like
Oh
Alyssa
no.
is a cheap tequila.
Yeah, cheap tequila is well. So, but to your point about how strong, like whatever, I could do some like Bacardi, like 151, but like no, not the Jim Beam or the Jack or some.
I like to shoot vodka. I'm a vodka person, but I like high end vodka.
You haven't had vodka in 2 years. I don't know if you could say that anymore.
No, I have some in the kitchen. I'm a social drinker. I don't like if I'm gonna drink. I drink socially, so but I can shoot the vodka.
I'll have a beer at like a dinner or something.
Yeah, maybe once in a while. You know, I will, especially special occasions. But, you know, if you show it to me and it looks really icy cold, then sometimes it's a wrap. It just depends, you know.
What's this mean, Elisa May? I have that memory with Cisco. Like Cisco?
What's that mean?
Like the artist? Ohio says haven't drank since Thanksgiving.
Well,
Nice.
good job.
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
Thank you. I'm a firm believer in moderation, other than like the fact that I'm smoking cannabis every day. I think that's the only thing I'm not really moderate on. But otherwise, yeah.
It's the way I medicate. So.
Oh, it's a drink. Okay.
That's what I was thinking it was.
I can't stand beer though. Blech. I don't like bitter tasting stuff. Beer's nasty.
There's some beer that I can't stand, but there's some that's all right for me, huh?
Yeah.
I've never like it. Even
I'll get a headache off of like one or two beers nowadays, though. Like,
yeah, it gets in my stomach, and then it like I don't feel good after I drink beer. So it either I don't know, it just doesn't do me well.
Alcohol is a poison in the first place to the body, and then you figure, you ferment it. Things just might not, sit well within your belly.
Yeah.
Fermented hops and maybe not.
Yeah, it just I don't know. I don't like the way it tastes, and I don't like the way it made me feel. So when everybody in high school was drinking beer, because that's what everybody could get. If they didn't have wine or hard liquor, I wouldn't drink. I didn't care.
I've definitely had alcohol poisoning too, Elisa. That's my point about the fact that it's not. It's there's a term I'm trying to think of. It's anyway, it's wrong to compare alcohol and cannabis. It's disingenuous, maybe.
Yeah, it's apples to oranges. The only thing they share in common is that they're intoxicating. That's the only thing they share. But two different substances, two different ways. Yeah, I completely agree.
And everyone's so cool with whatever liquor this event, liquor companies sponsoring their little league, teams and stuff like that. But no cannabis.
That's why I like cannabis events. That's so far there, and none of them that I've been to have had booze. I don't think.
Yeah, they mostly are booze free. Interesting. One is medicine, one's toxic. Well, there are medicinal applications to alcohol, but very, very, very few. And only two things I can think of is a disinfectant and a numbing agent. They used to like take a shot of whiskey so they would be numb, like before they were about to cut a bullet out of them or something like that.
Yeah, right.
Oh, there's the third thing. The other thing is like the fact that there's like a little bit of a health benefit from like a glass of wine a day, like the whole like a blood. Is it like a blood thinner? It has something to do with that, but I don't know if that's like really medical. But like there's a tiny.
I've heard that. I've heard that. I know that's why you're not supposed to be drunk when you get a tattoo, because you bleed a lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
It thins your blood out.
Yeah.
Nutrients for plants. Alcohol is a nutrient for plant. Ohio, is that what you're saying? Alcohol could be, it's also good for other things. It can be good for fuel. Nursing home doctor would prescribe 1 beer a day to a patient. Okay. For like different things for circulation and such. Nutrients for beer. Okay.
Yeah, probably for their kidneys.
Yeah. And so you could see like maybe a tiny bit, but then I also look at things like opiates, like poppy seeds, opium, heroin.
Mhm.
There is some medicinal aspects and applications to that too. So comparisons, but not like nearly as much as cannabis, right?
Right.
Taking care of a couple patients that were prescribed that, at least. So interesting. Prescribed a beer a day. There was this kid. No offense to you gingers out there, but we had a ginger in our unit over in Iraq, and he was prescribed to masturbate 3 times a day because of his like ADD and energy levels and this like bouncing off the walls and just like not in a good like warrior gung ho kind of way, but more like in a hey guys, what's going on, guys? It's just like he was a very animated guy, and he was prescribed masturbation. Interesting.
Well, I could see because, like, after men have sex, they fall asleep. So it produces some kind of a
It definitely lowers the energy levels for a minute there, and releases our like serotonin, which makes our brain like relax a little bit.
yeah. So
My
I
heart
guess
doctor said a glass of red wine with a meal would be good for the heart. Yeah.
Man,
Hi, Diane.
the things we talk about, people in the boxes.
Well, we went through a gambit to that tonight, man.
There. Yep.
We talked about the debate for a little bit.
Oh, yeah?
I mean,
I didn't
not a
li-
whole lot.
I just jumped in here and I said, "Oh, people in the boxes is on boat." I didn't even know what you guys were talking about.
Oh, we had several people were in here earlier. We were talking about Monsanto and glyphosate for a while. Johnny Paradise came through. That's coming up if he comes into space. That's coming up.
glyphosate.
Every time. That's he is a big proponent of trying to get them out.
I think we need to get rid of all
That
those
don't work. Trust me.
that fucking shit.
What don't work, Ohio? Sorry, go ahead, Steve.
I don't know. I think that trying to take down Monsanto is a great cause and everything, but it's so futile to think that we could beat a company that big in any way. It would take everyone and everything to come together against them.
I think innovation and different detoxing practices on the other end of things, like where we just like let them do their thing. Yeah, we tell them we don't like it or whatever, but then on our side of things, we do what we can to move towards more more like natural products. Even that stuff is packaged in plastic.
I feel like there's a big movement of people where people are moving back towards more natural kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Because they're starting to realize the negative consequences of a lot of these chemicals and stuff.
And people can't afford their medication, so they're looking for alternative methods anyway.
Yeah.
Before 50 years ago, before all these pills came into play, how do you think they treated all these things? When there wasn't a pill to treat it.
They just cut it off, whatever it was.
I guess.
Like that was when they had scurvy a lot from the from traveling so much more.
Yeah.
On ship for longer periods of time, and people would do. That's when all the weird shit would come out, like the what was that? They had like a different wooden, obviously legs, but they had other things too, like fingers, and they had teeth. Obviously, the whole steel story. But yeah, if back in the day, man, if you had some problem and get infected, they would just cut whatever off of you.
Well, George Washington had false teeth.
Yeah, I don't know if that story. I don't know how true that story was. I heard there was something about it. Who knows? Maybe, but I heard he had wooden teeth. But I don't know if that's true.
Teeth were made out of, but I read that they caused him a lot of pain.
Yeah, like we didn't know about disinfecting things.
Yeah.
But to your point, Steve-O, we had more common knowledge of like everyday plants that could be medicine. Now it's like, what's that, a weed? I'm mowing it down every week.
Purslane?
Yeah.
Huh?
What are you mowing down, purslane or what?
No, like all kinds of weeds that are probably medicinal.
Oh,
Like,
That we just don't realize exactly.
I think we outsourced our knowledge of it, and then we kind of got complacent that we don't know it anymore. Even within medicine, you have like people who are compartmentalized or specialized, and they just know this one, this one field, and like they're in that, and that's it. Like, foot doctor or whatever.
Yeah.
Like they have to know some ancillary things, but they can be pretty specialized, right? Anyway, what's going on with you, Steve-O? Let us know how your anniversary was and such, and then we'll probably get going here soon.
Oh,
Yeah, about
it went good, bro. I had to go to the doctor, and I hadn't been feeling well for a few days, and I needed. I already had an appointment, so we had to do that, and then we went and got something to eat together, and we actually decided to, for the first time since, probably 2019, probably, I decided to stop at the dispensary and try to get some edibles, and I thought I would try some fancy wax, some rosin or something. And I wasn't impressed with the rosin any more than any rosin that I ever get. In fact, there's one of my friends has way better rosin than this, and it was just crazy. I just felt robbed, because the prices and everything, 35 to 40% tax, and everything. And then, but the edibles were okay. I mean, 100 milligrams, and we just bought the cheapest ones that were 1-to-1s for $15, and ate the whole pack, and they just kind of made me feel mellow, but they let me sleep well. I will say they probably tacked on 2 to 3 hours of good sleep. So, hey, that was a win for those.
Bro, you know what happened with Drizzle Dab? Drizzle Dab, their payment processing companies have shut down his ability to take a credit card in his store or a debit card because he sells CBN. CBN that helps people sleep.
Oh no, because I need to order mine.
Well, you can still order on the website. He said the website is this. Oh no, the website's down right now at the moment.
Oh no.
He's having it revamped or something, but he's gonna have that back up soon. But his thing in the store is a separate deal, a separate issue. So
Oh no.
but I'm just saying, like, you made me think of it. It's like they're worried about something that's a sleep aid, non-melatonin. It's not, some pill or whatever.
Nice. That's
Ridiculous.
That's crazy.
They really just need to, I don't know, our Congress needs to change the laws.
Well, I hate to say this, guys. People don't take it the wrong way. I don't mean it like it might sound, but the one way that that every country, Steve was like, "Where it's happening anyway, we're gonna take it that way." The one way that every country does what you're talking about, it says like a reset, like a clean slate, new laws, let's start over, is war. Like if we can somehow, and obviously we already did have it. We already did this. We had a revolution, we had a civil war, we've had wars. So it's not that far-fetched to think that it might happen again, but if it happens again, it could be on a much bigger scale, which could be pretty scary. But the other thing is, like, I see it as a cycle of life. Like, I'm not all that scared about it because I'm like, well, if it happens, it's probably gonna happen. Like, I feel like it happens. It's happened in the past, many times, and just because we don't call it war anymore doesn't mean it's not. But so I just see it as like that's going to be the only way we can delete a lot of these laws off the books, like things like you can't have a ice cream cone in your pocket on a Tuesday walking down Main Street.
Why would you have an ice cream cone in your pocket?
There is a law like that. I forget what city that's in.
They're blue
I
laws.
see you. There we go.
Blue laws.
Hey,
Hey,
Yeah, there's a website, whole blue laws. There's a website with like these weird laws, like you can't have. Some of them made sense at a time.
I think the blue laws are in Texas, but I don't know if that's the only place.
Nationwide has laws on their books where they're just like old laws that nobody actually follows anymore, does anything with, but they're just silly laws. Like there's a law in some states and maybe a lot of states where you could beat your wife on the lawn.
oh Lord,
A courthouse lawn, like a literal law. Like you could go to the courthouse lawn as long as you went to the courthouse and you was on the courthouse lawn, you could, cane your wife or whatever. Like,
yeah.
wow,
good luck getting her there.
Right? Yeah, Dragon. Like,
We're going to the courthouse. Let's go.
We're going on a talk show, honey. You gotta go with me.
Yeah, I mean, we shouldn't laugh. Probably, but it's like, man, that's.
It was barbaric. There were barbaric times. I think the humor is one way that we relate to them.
just published the book. If you have Kindle, it's free.
Oh, you got it done while we were live. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Let's here's the book name again.
The Art of
right there, right below
Cannabis.
Yeah, let me pull them up here. It's
The
underneath
Art of
his name
Cannabis,
there.
now on Amazon. Check it out. Read a free chapter.
Do
Kindle is free.
Do a review. Can you do an Amazon review or whatever?
Yeah, I believe so. I think
I'm not sure how that works, but
this is my first publication, so kind of nervous, but
hey, I've always thought about writing books. I have book ideas floating around in my head, but never done it. So that's pretty
I have
big.
2 more I gotta write.
You like they're already like burning in my head.
Yeah, been running for a long time. This took me like a year and a half. This one.
You should go on a podcast tour, not just mine, but like hit like I'll try to hook you up with like Steve-O. You can go on his show or anywhere and just to promote it, talk about what's going on.
Yeah.
All about growing cannabis. I feel like it would be fit in plenty of places.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But we don't really have I don't want to get too far into it tonight, but definitely we're going to unpack that at some point soon.
It's right to the point.
Check it out, though, guys.
Yeah, check it out. Yeah.
I bit my tongue earlier, and it's really starting to come back to bite me. Wait. Biting me backwards.
I bit the side of my mouth the other day.
Ooh.
I hate that. Remember they used to call it a canker sore. Sounds so weird. Canker sore.
Ooh.
Yeah, well, that wasn't a canker sore. That was a
but don't you get but don't you get a sore from when you bite your
Yep. It's gone by the next day.
I'm not asking how long. Well, that's not part of it. I don't know. But thanks for coming back, Neb. We're trying. We're already way over. We've just been.
Oh no, I wasn't coming. I wasn't coming back. I just came back because I was done what I was doing. That's all.
Oh, nice. Cool. Yeah, we'll have to get you on maybe Tuesday because I do have an event this weekend. I'm going to the end of the year North Adams Hemp party at their farm, and we're going to be actually, I believe, coming in remotely live on Nancy's own show.
Nice.
So that's going to be interesting as long as we have internet connection and things like that, and it should be fun. There's a whole like photo shoot happening with the hemp plants, and there's going to be like a drone taking photos from Philip, our buddy Philip, and going to be a lot going on. So it should be fun. And then there's an after party at some place called the Pinball Joint.
Nice.
It's in Quincy, Illinois. So be down there Saturday. Yeah, it's actually I've been there. I was there last year, and they've got karaoke. They've got like concessions. I don't think they had alcohol, but they had like pinballs. Like machines all through the place. They had this big place where you go in the back and there's all these different, machines. Instead of an arcade, it was all pinball machines. And my dog is telling me it's time. What do you want?
It's fun, man.
What do you want? Hey, but don't forget, guys, I do have my hats for sale. I've sold 3 now. I've got to send 3 out.
Sorry, so I can
Hey,
see
don't
you have
laugh
your
at my
ass for
hats
sale.
promotion. I got to throw it out there, and I almost did. Okay.
Sorry.
Look at it. He's like, oh, I was just coughing. I wasn't laughing at your silly hats. Okay.
Now it's like you said you had ass for sale. Sorry, I clean my
Ass
ears out.
for sale? Yes. Actually, there's a funny thread on Jess Rosebud. Shouts out. She said something about I love that one hat or whatever. And she said, oh, the hat I was wearing in the photo. And she said, but not the one you're wearing. She said, I don't want your DNA. And I said, yeah, my DNA would be extra. So it is what it is. I don't know. I almost don't want to say what she said next, but she said, yeah, I could make a whole bunch of little Waylons. And I was like, I don't know where this going there with that. But anyway, yeah, let me show you what Margaret bought. She bought this one. So I'm wearing one with the green. And I guess I'll pull myself up real quick before we get out of here, do my little promotion. So she's gonna get the one with the regular logo. I'm keeping this one to wear during the show. It's got the weed logo on it.
I might get one myself, like a couple of them.
But this one is the only one that's purchasable with the weed on the bill. And it's already gone to Miss Margaret Jett. Shouts out to Margaret.
That matches my Crocs. I have weed Crocs.
But Margaret, you'll have to let me know if you want me to sign it. What'd you say, Kim? Sorry.
No, I said I have weed Crocs. Those match my Crocs.
Yeah, I heard what you said. Kim said something. What'd you say?
The one of a kind.
Oh yeah, this one is a one of a kind too. I'm thinking about.
What is that?
I don't want to say what I'm thinking about, but I'm thinking about possibly someone taking this, and you got plenty of space there for a whole nother logo. You know, This is a nug. You just sent this to me.
I'm picking up what you're laying down. I'm picking
is
up what you're
that
laying
a logo or what is that?
Save me one.
It's a big nug. This is the only one of its kind. He sent it to me. I don't know why, but he sent it to me.
Yeah. All right, I'm out of here, guys. I'll talk to you.
Steve-O.
Good night, Kelly.
Good show, man.
Hi, Kelly. Good night, Kelly. Good night, Steve-O. Steve-O, check him out, guys. He's going to be on with me Monday again, right? With me this next Monday. I was just thinking, like, I'm like trying to think of the next few days. It'll be next Monday. Have a good weekend, bro. We'll see you later. But check him out, Sir Steve-O on Facebook. He's on X as well. I don't want to put my head on it. I don't want to put it on my head, I guess. But it does. It makes me. I kind of like it. I kind of want to keep it, but at the same time, like, I wouldn't wear this unless I got my logo put on it.
Right.
And I already have a bunch of hats like that. So why do I need to do that? So I might just do a big giveaway for this, or maybe possibly sell it.
Good night, Diane.
I don't know.
Good night, Diane.
Good night, Diane. We're leaving too, guys. I'll take it. Ohio wants it. Hi, Kasia. I haven't decided what I'll like. I want to just say yes, brother, but just give me a second. Give me I'll decide for sure, but I probably will just sell it to someone because I got so many that already have me. Like that the cool bud is interesting, but the one I'm wearing is already it's pretty much doing the trick, right? the logo.
You have more of those.
This is a one of a kind. He sent me these with the cannabis on the bill. The 3 that I just showed you guys. He sent me those with my actual order because there was a delay and there was some theft that happened and stuff. So because it took him a little longer. He sent me a few little goodie prizes. So
that's what's up.
He also sent me some sunglasses with my name on them. So that's pretty cool. But Kasia, you actually. Anybody who subscribed gets in on the list if they want to win a hat. So while you're here, are you still here, Kasia? I'm channeling Kasia. Kasia, are you still here? Are you still here with me, Kasia? You just have to say the word, and I'll put you in on the list. We're going to do a spin per month. I is, she said. Okay, got you. So I'm guessing since you said I need that, you want one of these hats. Now, the hats don't all have cannabis on them, so the other ones have just my logo. I'll show you a couple, maybe. I'll show you. What color do you like? Do you like purple? I word or the word. The word. She said it. Okay. If you when and if you win the hat wheel once a month, you get to pick whatever from the hats that are left, and you also get more chances to win if you get in on the number wheel every week. If you win my spot on game night, and the more chances for people who are higher up on the subscription and also have been here longer. Every 6 months will get you an extra chance. And the other thing is, once you win a free hat, you don't get to win another free hat until everyone else has got one. So purple, let me show you, Kasia. This is the thing. If you could wait to win one, you could wait to win one, but there's only 2 of each kind of hat, besides the cannabis ones. But there's only 2 of these, and there's already at least a couple people interested. So as a subscriber, you get $10 off. So you can buy one for $30, or you can wait to try to win one. Just to let you guys know. So the faster if you decide to buy one, the faster you decide that, the faster you get to pick one of the choices that you want. If they start to go fast, then I will order some more. What else? Anything else? If you're not a subscriber, you can purchase one for $40. I think that's it. But if you're a subscriber for at least a month, you can get one for $30. I don't mean subscribe for only a month. I mean you have to be here for at least a month. I want to clarify that for sure. But yeah, half the battle is getting people just to download the app, go to the website, and sign up and things like that. I mean, $2, you get more than that back pretty quick. All right, let's go. Have a good night, guys. Thanks again, Kim. Thanks.
Well, peace.
Good
Much
night.
love, everybody.
Peace out.
It was fun. Remember, guys, we'll be back next Thursday, 8 o'clock Central Time. Share our perspective. Have a good weekend. Come back and see us on Sunday for game night, and Kim on Sunday for the Legit Bean Review Remastered Sunday Fun Day. And Neb, check out his book, you guys. It's on Amazon right now.
Peace.
Good review.
Thank you.